first of all, thank you for joining me today. I appreciate
Yeah,
it. I'm
thanks
sure.
for thanks for having me.
Yeah, I know you have kids and stuff, so I'm sure you're busy. I know this is probably a pain, but I appreciate it.
Oh, I think this is fun.
Yeah,
I mean, I've never met someone like you, never talked to someone like you. Why not? Let's do it. Though I am
sure.
skipping church to be here and talk to you, so I'm sinning a little bit, but it's okay.
Boy, I would imagine your pastor's not thrilled about that, but
It's okay. He hated my YouTube channel anyway because I was preaching the opposite of what he was preaching. He's like, the world is doomed. Socialism's destroy everything. I'm like, Trump's coming back. It'll be fine.
can I
He's
ask?
like, what's you're saying on that YouTube channel? This is crazy.
So he doesn't like that you're take a more optimistic outlook.
No, he did not like that at all. He was kind of putting pressure on my dad. He was like, "Hey, is Peter a Q believer?" And my dad's like, "Yeah." He's like, "Hmm."
Interesting. And that's, to my
Yeah.
knowledge, the Reverend Moon, correct?
This is Reverend Moon's son. Reverend Moon died a while ago.
Yes. Okay. I have a question.
Son,
Do
for
you
sure, go for it.
do you have one of those sweet crowns? Do you have a cool bullet crown?
You know what? I've been wanting to buy one, but it's just not in the budget right now.
How much are they? I'm just curious because I watched a thing on them the other day when I was researching for you, and I figured out that you were part of that church because you wear their medallion and you wear their special
Yeah,
camo jacket.
yeah.
So,
I'm not gonna be doing that anymore. But
why are you embarrassed to be a member of the
well,
church?
I think it's it put me up as a target. I'll get into that later, but it's easy to label someone as like a violent person when they're like in a gun cult or whatever.
Yeah,
So
it's a little
I'm like, you know
strange.
what? You know what? I'm gonna tone down the whole I'm in the sanctuary church thing. But the crowns, the ones they sell at the church store are about $300.
Jesus
I think they're
Christ.
just gold plated. They're not real gold.
That
Some
seems
people just, yeah, some people just make their own with like string or copper. Honestly, it's kind of silly and kind of fun. But the church believes that we're like, once you get married, you become like a king and a queen or whatever. And so
yeah, I
it's
saw.
interesting. I don't,
Did you meet your
go ahead.
wife through the church? Because as I and we'll get to the QAnon stuff. Obviously, I just wanted to
For
talk.
sure.
I wanted to touch
For
base with
sure.
this. Like,
Uh-huh.
as far as I understand, the church does arranged marriages. Is that how you and your wife met?
Well, my parents were married through an arranged marriage.
Yes.
I was not, well, I was against arranged marriage because like what happens if I'm arranged with someone I really don't like? So I was like, nah, I'll skip that. So the second option is then to do find someone. So I went on a church website and I found someone and her father contacted me. Is like, hey, um, my daughter doesn't even know you exist, but I think you're cool. You want to meet my daughter? And I was like, all right, sure. And then we just somehow hit it off because I mean we had the church in common and everything worked out.
Well, I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy that you don't have a fully arranged marriage. I still find that a little weird what you just described, but I'm
Yeah,
glad for you that
yeah,
you found someone that you are.
yeah. Yes, I fell in love before I got married, the traditional Western style, not no arranged marriage. Arranged marriages are very, very difficult.
I would imagine.
Actually, now that we're on topic of religion, are you a Satanist or you just like to mess with Christians?
I am not a Satanist. I am an atheist.
Oh, okay. I was there at one point for sure.
That's funny
Uh,
because I used to be a Christian. So,
oh gosh. So I'm guessing your parents are still Christians?
to my knowledge, yes.
Oh boy. What did they think of you being an atheist? Are you the black sheep of the family?
Not really. They don't really. I mean, I don't
They
think
don't
they're
care.
thrilled about it, but it doesn't really matter. I don't know. My family isn't like that fervent that it's like an issue. We've certainly talked about it before, but my job more so my job being I started on YouTube about a decade ago.
Oh
Um,
wow. That makes sense.
yeah, I started on YouTube about a decade ago. It's been my job, and I started with doing an atheist Bible study. So they weren't thrilled about that. I read the Bible
Oh my
regularly
gosh.
and talk about it from an atheist perspective. So I actually know the Bible relatively
Wow.
well.
Wow. I
That's
had a
actually
feeling.
that's
Go
one of
ahead.
the reasons. Sorry, I'll let you talk in a second. I'm very blah 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 blah. So I'll try
It's
and tone it
okay.
down. That's actually one of the reasons I became an atheist, is because I was questioning my religion, and then they're like, well, read the Bible every day for a month, and I did, and I was like, oh, I'm definitely an atheist. So
That's a horrible argument. Reading the Bible, like I read the first page of the Bible, and that's how far I got.
interesting. So have you not
Yeah.
actually read the Bible yourself?
No, I wouldn't say I'm a very religious person. I would say that now I believe in God. Actually, like the whole Q movement really pushed me into being like like I had doubts every once in a while, but the Q movement is actually quite a religious movement. They
Yeah,
post about religious quotes and God wins and all that stuff. So like once I saw all that stuff was going on, it actually strengthened and cemented my belief in God.
interesting.
Oddly enough, yeah.
Okay.
But so is your real name the name? I'm not going to dox you if you want to keep your name hidden, but it's the one that I'm seeing below on this Google meeting.
Oh, I have no idea. It might be. I don't know. I
Does
probably
it
have an
start
old
with the
Google.
letter J?
Yes, that's my dead name. I don't know if you know any
Okay.
trans people, but that's typically not something you
Okay.
say.
So are you a he or she? I want to be respectful.
She. Thank you.
Okay, she. And so you legally change your name to Hannah
I'm in the
or?
middle of it right now. I sent in the paperwork.
Okay. And is this because you're a fan of me and you like my last name, so you thought you would copy it or?
No, actually, I picked the name before I knew you existed. But
Okay. And oh, I see.
if you'd
Have
like
you
to fan theory that, that's fine.
So have you announced to your audience yet that you're gonna make me you're gonna put mine on your Hannah and Jake YouTube channel and change it to Peter, Hannah, and Jake?
No, I haven't. Thanks for spoiling
Oh
the
man, you gotta
surprise.
announce that. Don't
No,
keep that a secret, Hannah.
no. All right.
So I
I,
also have a couple questions for you.
right on. Go ahead.
You actually I was watching your I'm subscribed. Surprised you don't have so many subscribers because I think your videos are pretty funny.
Oh, thank you. I only started in the last year or so on YouTube on my own separate thing. On the Hannah and Jake
Oh,
channel, I have 160 something thousand or
I saw that.
150.
I saw
So,
that.
you know, it just is what it is.
So do you split the profit on ads on that, or how's that work?
On Hannah and Jake, yes, we split stuff 50-50.
So who gets to actually get the bill and split it? Because someone's conning the other.
No, we both get receipts, and we have a business
Oh,
agreement. We have an
oh,
LLC
I see.
together.
Oh, wow, wow. And is this part of the LSC, this YouTube channel, or
Is it
your
part?
separate one?
I no. This is my own thing.
Oh, I see. So there's no LLC for this Hannah Reloaded.
Not to my knowledge. Why?
Well, I had a question. Um, I noticed that you posted one of your videos. Actually, I do have a lot of respect. You're pretty logical, and sometimes you do tear up my arguments. And the whole audio thing, yes, my audio gets bad sometimes because I'm kind of new to this, and I sometimes press the wrong button. So yeah, you're like, Peter's audio, what's going on today? I don't have time to fix it. I know the audio sucks, but I don't have time. But I was just wondering if you could explain this because innately I feel like you're not a super evil person, that you're a good person. But then I saw this and I was like, does Hannah have evil intentions? Can I show you this clip?
Jesus Christ. It's always good to remember that even though Peter comes off as this, like, he's, consummately positive and seems happy, he wants to kill us. He wants us dead. You understand that? Like, his goal is to wipe out everyone he doesn't like.
Yeah.
Is everyone left of Donald Trump?
So, can we clear that up? Because I'm getting some death threats from your followers who are, they this might be a joke, but they're taking this seriously because, like, you're like, do you understand that he's trying to kill all you guys?
Yeah, that would be the end
can
goal
you
of
clear
sort
that-
of QAnon belief systems would be to
Okay,
either
so there-
imprison or wipe out people that you disagree with.
So to be clear to your followers, you don't have any video clips of me saying I wanted to kill any of your followers, any Democrats. You don't have any proof of that. You're
You
just saying
believe that
right?
Democrats are Satanists that eat babies, correct? Or eat adrenochrome from babies
Okay.
after assaulting them.
The fake news rights article saying Democrats, Q believers believe all Democrats eat babies because they're trying to damage the movement. What we believe is that some Democrats and even Republicans are part of a satanic cabal that do feed
Like Matt
on
Gaetz.
babies. We'll get into that. But the point is this. let's just be clear. You're basing me saying I want to kill millions of Americans based on a fake news article, and you actually have no evidence that I want to kill anyone. Is that correct?
No, I would disagree with that. I look into Q a lot. I've seen what you people talk about on the greatawakening.win. And by the way, I saw your thread you posted to greatawakening.win. Not the greatest people that you hang out with. They're not a fan of the left or trans people or gay people at all.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen plenty of rhetoric on that website about, like, wiping out gay people, wiping out trans people.
So well, let's be clear here. You're saying that since other people have hatred towards trans and gay people, want to kill them, then I do too? Is that your argument? I'm just trying to see how you got to this conclusion where suddenly, because
you're part of a church that takes AR-15s in and blesses them.
Yeah, we've never ever shot anyone, and the only reason we have it is because we believe that something like this would happen. There would be a socialist takeover. They would take away people's guns and rights.
Can you define socialism for me real quick without Googling it?
Hold on. Because this is a personal attack on my character. I just want to clear this up. You have no video evidence whatsoever of me saying I want to kill anyone. And this is all based off what other people have said and their thoughts and beliefs. But you have no video evidence, no proof of me saying I wanted to harm anyone. Is that correct?
You affiliate yourself with QAnon, and then you're surprised when people assume that you also believe the same things that many other people in QAnon do?
Okay, so this is an assumption, but you have no evidence, to be clear. I mean, you have evidence of me saying I wanted to kill someone. Please show your viewers.
You're constantly talking about the fact that you want the military to take over the country via military coup to install Donald Trump as a dictator.
Yes. Bingo. I did say that, but that is quite different than saying that I want to kill you. Hannah, just to be clear, I do not want to kill you. I wish you the best. I think you're hilarious. I don't want to kill anyone. Let me just tell you a little bit about my history. For 10 years, I was a cannabis activist, healing people with Rick Simpson, telling people that cannabis cures cancer.
It doesn't.
And I actually saved a lot of lives. Cancer patients mostly were Democrats, strangers, who came to me with cancer, and I said, use these cannabis oil treatments to cure cancer. I have thank you emails from many Democrats. I did this 10 years for free, saving Democrats' lives. So I'm one of the nicest guys you'll find on the internet.
But you want the military to take over the country and install Trump as a dictator, correct?
Not as a dictator. It has to be legal. But listen.
How are you going to legally do a military coup to install a president who lost the election?
Hold on. Let's not get sidetracked. Believing that I want Trump to get president is very different than saying I want you and all your followers and all Democrats to be killed. Is that correct? Or do you think those are the two same things?
So just to be clear, how do you expect the military to take over the country exactly? Do you want them to knock on the door and be like, hi guys, today we're going to take over the country?
Hold on, Hannah. We'll get into all that in a second, but I just want to clear up because your followers are giving me death threats because they think I want to kill them.
We do not approve of death threats of any kind here on this channel.
Okay.
You get trolls other than from people like me. People follow your channel because you're funny. I'm sorry.
Okay. No, that's fine. The death threats is the thing I'm concerned about because they genuinely think that I want to kill them. Can I just clear that up, that you have no proof that I want to kill them? I do believe that Q and the Trump and the military should go and arrest mass murderers and put them through a trial where they could get the death penalty.
Define mass murderers in that statement. Who qualifies as a mass murderer?
Who's a mass murderer?
Yeah, who qualifies as a mass murderer?
You would have to have killed multiple people, I'm assuming. That's
sure,
the
but like
define
what do you mean by that? Who would be on this list?
Very few people. There aren't many mass murderers out there. But the thing is, your audience thinks I want to kill anyone who doesn't agree with them. And I just want to be clear before we move on to other good stuff. I just want to be crystal clear that I have actually saved many lives. Have you ever saved any lives, Hannah?
Oh,
have you saved any Republicans' lives? Okay, so I have saved many lives. You're accusing me.
You think you cured cancer with pot? And look, I agree. Pot's rad. Pot is rad. I like me some weed, but you're not curing cancer with it. I'm sorry.
Oh, you want me to show you those emails of these people thanking me? Democrats thanking me.
I would believe that they believe that, but that's not medical proof.
Just to be clear, I've spent 10 years helping thousands of people with cannabis information, and you're accusing me of wanting to. My goal is to kill everyone. who's left of Donald Trump. Could you just
QAnon
clarify
movement,
that
yes.
statement? So can you just clarify you have no video evidence? I'm not gonna. Well, we can get to the other stuff once
Did I
you.
say I had video
just-
evidence, or am I extrapolating out from your belief system?
Okay, so you're extrapolating and assuming, but you actually have no evidence of me ever saying that. Is that correct?
Glass houses, Peter.
Okay, I'll take that as I have no evidence, because if you did have evidence, I'm sure you would have showed it right now. In fact, if you had evidence of it, you'd be worried for the lives of your viewers, and you would show them the evidence right now and
Let me
to
give
keep
you
them safe.
Let me give you a hypothetical. Peter, you want the military to take over the country. People like me aren't going to
Legally.
be okay with that. No, not legally. There's no legally version of this.
Oh, it'll be legal.
No,
It'll be
how?
legal.
How would it be legal?
I can't reveal all Trump's secrets. He'll get mad at me.
What? First of all, Trump doesn't know who the fuck you are, so that's a weird delusions of
I'm
grandeur.
kidding,
Okay.
Hannah. I'm kidding, Hannah.
Cool. So, military starts taking over the country. You expect everyone to be, like, cool with that. And you don't think
Well-
anyone like me would be like, no, and fight back. Because implicitly, if you're asking for a military coup, similar to what's going on in Myanmar, you're asking for the military to start shooting civilians who disagree and fight back.
Trump is trying to save lives, Hannah.
But
All right,
why
let's
do you
compare-
think that?
Why don't you compare Obama, who went around bombing innocent civilians
Trump
with drones?
also did that. Trump also did that.
Okay, show me all these bombings by
Sure.
drones that innocent
Hold on, I
civilians.
actually have sources on this. Give me a sec. I pulled up a thing.
Let's compare how many drone bombings
Let's
Obama
see.
had versus Trump.
Here's an article from
CNN?
November 18th, 2019. Bombs, missiles falling at record pace in long-running Afghanistan war. American ground forces in Afghanistan shrink. U.S. and allied warplanes are dropping bombs and firing missiles at insurgent targets at a record pace in the 18-year-long war. The spike in firepower coincides with the Trump administration policy dating to 2016 that gave military commanders greater authority to attack Taliban and Islamic State militants in Afghanistan. The logic is that you see what I'm saying? Like, this would take 5 seconds for you to Google.
Hold on. You just said he was killing innocent civilians, and you just read that he's killing terrorists. Is there?
Do you think that splash damage and civilian casualties are not a result of attacks on legitimate
to be clear,
targets?
you have no evidence of him killing civilians. All you have is some evidence of him
I can pull
wiping
up
out
more.
ISIS. Very, very good evidence there. You just proved my point. All you read is that he is saving the world from terrorists. Thank you, Hannah. You are doing great.
So when
Good job.
when Obama tries to bomb ISIS, he's killing civilians exclusively, but when Trump does the same thing, there are no civilian casualties. Even though the same military apparatus is carrying out both.
When I was in college, I had a friend who was an Afghani who was my roommate.
Okay.
He showed me news from Afghanistan that I Google Translate. Obama was dropping. One of the drone bombs he dropped was on a wedding of 300 people.
That's fucked up. The U.S. military is disgusting.
No, this was a evil military being controlled by Obama. They killed these people. There was no threat at all. This is the difference between mass murder and killing terrorists. Obama got caught killing people for fun. Trump, as you just pointed out, was only killing terrorists.
Here's another article.
He wiped out ISIS.
Can I read this article?
Please, go ahead.
Trump's airstrikes in Afghanistan dramatically increased civilian deaths. The U.S.'s easing of restrictions on aerial strikes has led to an increase of attacks across the Middle East, Afghanistan, and neighboring countries. In 2019, airstrikes from the U.S. and its allies in Afghanistan killed 700 civilians, more than in any other year since the beginning of the war in 2001 and 2002, according to research from Brown University's Cost of War project.
What's the source? What's the website is that saying this?
This is from MiddleEastEye.net, and the source for the research is from Brown University's Cost of War project.
I see. So the people that are attacking Trump and who've been lying about him for years, they're your source. Is that correct?
You think?
I just want to be clear.
Brown University, who's been tracking war since 2001, is specifically targeting Donald Trump?
Universities are all against Trump because he's removing the corruption.
So, just to be clear, anytime I provide you sources and evidence that Donald Trump has done something wrong, you're going to claim fake news.
If it's fake news, I have to call it out.
How do you define fake news? Define fake news.
Whether they tell the truth or they're fake.
How are you determining what is true and what is fake? What is your criteria?
Well, I follow politics very closely, and I can tell, for example, Russia, whatever happened to the Mueller report, You know, the fake news, all these hundreds of fake news websites.
Flynn got
like,
arrested
Russia,
during
Russia.
that, and then Trump
Yeah,
pardoned
and then
him.
when the Mueller report, what did the Mueller report do? Oh, it exonerated them.
It didn't. He explicitly, under oath, said it did not exonerate him.
Oh, I thought the Mueller report was going to take Trump down. What happened?
The DOJ's policy is you cannot indict sitting presidents.
Oops. So, in other words, the Mueller report came out and said, basically, we can take no legal action because Trump didn't do anything bad.
That is not what it said. Did you read it, or did you read a bunch of One America News things about it?
Did it have any evidence that he had connections with Russia?
Yes.
Nope.
Him and people on his team met with them, including Flynn, who Trump later pardoned.
Meeting with someone is very different than being controlled by them. As a billionaire, you're going to meet a lot of people, Hannah.
You're going to meet a lot of people. A lot of people are going to go to hotel rooms to meet with Russian intelligence people and
if that was a smoking gun, it would have taken down Trump. If that was a smoking gun, it would have said so. All they pointed out it was that there were a few meetings and that's it, but there's no smoking gun. If these meetings were big, then the Mueller report would have exploded and there would have been some
and then the
damage.
Republicans refused to hear evidence in the Senate.
Okay, so are you claiming the Mueller report was a slam dunk?
I'm claiming that it implicated Donald Trump and his campaign with both destroying evidence and working with Russia. But I don't think that's relevant to the conversation we're having.
Because when I saw the Democratic reaction, they seem extremely upset that nothing happened after the Mueller report. But you're saying
I think the DOJ policy on not indicting sitting presidents is incredibly stupid. I think that's fucked up.
Okay. Well, let's move on to the next topic. But to be clear, the Mueller report did no damage. And the Democrats, from what I could tell, Bill Maher and a whole bunch of people, they were very disappointed in the Mueller report.
Why do I give a shit? I hate Bill Maher. Why do you think I give a shit what Bill Maher thinks?
Well, the point is, Democrats were severely disappointed with the Mueller report because it was a big nothing burger.
No,
millions of dollars.
Wasn't. Again, have you actually read it?
Have you read it, Hannah?
Yes. Have you read it?
Oh, you read the whole thing?
Yeah.
How many pages is it, Hannah?
Do you think I remember the exact number of pages? It was fucking big.
So you read this whole book in your leisure time, right? Between YouTube and you're like, hey, I'm going to read a 600-page book or something like that.
Do you think a 600-page book is a big book? How many books do you read?
I'm just saying. I'm calling you out. You did not read this report, Hannah.
I did. It's my job.
All right. If you read it, can you tell me 10 things that you remember it explicitly saying?
Go ahead. Sure. 10 things. They said that the Department of Justice policy is that they don't indict a sitting president. Flynn was implicated in meeting with various contacts from the Russian government. Let's see what else. The Trump campaign.
What's going on?
I'm listing them. Are you good?
Okay, go ahead.
The Trump campaign was taking part in destroying evidence regularly, which made the investigation difficult. They were disallowed from investigating financial crimes by the Department of Justice. Donald Trump had a pattern of asking for lines of communication with Russia, up to and including asking for it live on TV. What else? It's been a while.
So this is what you read from CNN?
No. Why do you think I read CNN? It's always CNN with you people. I don't ever look at CNN, almost ever.
Okay, so what are your credible sources of information that you trust?
AP,
news sources.
Usually. AP's pretty good.
I see.
Yeah. AP is one of the most trustworthy news sources on the planet. What's yours? One America News?
Wow, you're good. You're right about that one.
Yeah.
I have a question about what's your take on the whole the Secret Service is not defending Biden properly? There's been questions raised about how there's no snipers on top of the White House. You're welcome to bring up a feed of the White House right now and show me the snipers. There's supposed to be a.
Do you think it's good
team.
for the? And I've been to Washington. Have you been to Washington D.C.?
I have. Did you know that
I have too. I've been there. Okay. I couldn't see the snipers then either, and that was when George W. Bush was in office. Like, you're not supposed to be able to see them. That's the entire point.
Actually, you can see the rifles. You can see the telescopes on top. You can see the snipers. And you can see them on the live stream. I saw them on the live stream when Trump was president, when Obama was president. If you look at it, Google this up. There's supposed to be at least 2 snipers on top of the White House at all times. Obama got them. George Bush got them. Trump got them. Why isn't Biden getting these
I would
snipers?
imagine he is.
Oh, really? Could you pull up the live stream and show me the
Is there a
snipers right
live
now?
stream of the White House at all
Oh,
times?
for sure there is. Pull up. Show me these.
Sure.
Show me these snipers that they're legally required to be there. If Biden was in the White House, they would be.
Oh, I see them. They're up there right now. You
Can you
idiot.
pull it up?
Let me pull it up. Hold
Pull it
on.
up.
Let me do the screen share. Hold on. Oh, wait. Hold on. I gotta switch the window capture. You're gonna have to look at this on the stream, probably, just for the record.
I'm watching the stream. Don't worry.
Okay. Window capture. Why can't I? Oh, sorry. Wrong screen. My B. They're up there right now. Oh, shit. Look. They're up on the roof.
All right, show me 2 snipers. Zoom in.
I can't zoom in on a video. It's full screen. They're right there. They're under the American flag and over there.
All right, well, it looks like there's some type of event going on. That's why they're there. I checked the other day, the day before. They weren't snipers. Check again tomorrow. There's a lot of people there. I'm telling you, check tomorrow.
Show me the snipers! Oh, they're right there. Oh, well,
Okay. Well, it just so happens that there's some event going on, so now they're snipers. But check another day. Their snipers aren't there. Unless there's an event, there's no snipers there.
I love you, Peter. I love you so much.
I know. I can tell. I can feel your love from here.
You should.
So do you have any other questions, or?
I do. I have many questions, actually.
All right.
Okay.
Sure.
How did you get into the whole QAnon thing? I asked you this on email, but we have a better opportunity to.
Well, it popped up in a YouTube stream and then a YouTube video. I looked it up. I thought it was interesting because I'm into conspiracy theories. And I just started reading it from the first post, which was recommended. And at first I was just entertained and interested. But then I started seeing these Q proofs, which you were laughing about, Trump saying 17 so many times. Statistically, that's impossible.
No, it's not.
You're like,
the president says things.
you can find him saying 346 100 times. He says all the numbers every single time, all the time.
I think he probably says a lot of numbers. He's the president, and over 5 years from the campaign to now, he's gonna say a lot of numbers.
Okay, well,
have you seen those videos, for instance, of like Obama or something, and they take words? They do this for Trump too. Individual words, and they turn them into songs. It's
yes, I've seen that.
The president says things all the time, so that you can have tons of words and use them.
Okay, but the number 17 is a very specific number. It's not number 1. It's not number 2, which would be said very often. Number 17 is a number that's rarely said, and he just happened to say it.
What's your
times.
evidence that the number 17 is rarely said?
Well, try to find a single video of Obama or Biden saying 17. Go ahead.
I mean, that's going to be hard to search.
It's rare.
I probably could
the
try
point
to
is,
find it.
It's rare. It's very rare. So these are called Q proofs, where Trump tells the audience, if Trump says Q is real, the mainstream media will immediately label Q as a terrorist organization, Trump the head of the terrorist organization. So he can't come out and say Q is real. So what he do is he'll drop hints, like talking about 17 a lot. If you look at the Q posts, which you'll never do, which is fine.
I've seen Q drops.
Q will many times he's posted the exact same second that Trump posted, and sometimes even said something. He'll post something, and a minute later Trump will tweet and say the exact same thing. So these are called Q proofs. And you could say like 1 or 2 of them is a coincidence, but if they happen hundreds of times, that's what actually got me into believing in Q. Because first I was like, wow, this is weird information. But then Q was like, watch this. And he posts the exact same second as Trump. And then he posts the same time as Trump again. And then he did it again. But this time he said the same message. And this time he posts before Trump and he predicts what Trump is going to say. Or you know how Trump was, people know this, he was retweeting Q posts. Not Q posts, Q content, Q memes, Q accounts often. There's
Yeah, it's
articles
'cause
all
the
about
Q
this.
people tend to suckle on Donald Trump's dick, and he's a narcissist, so he likes when people say nice things about him.
So in other words, he promoted the Q. Even the mainstream media has a bunch of articles on how he's fueling the Q conspiracy. These
Trump
are called
also
Q
retweeted a
proofs.
video where one of his supporters yelled "white power." So you want me to make the same argument about that?
Well, one time is different than 100 times. I think you would agree. So he
Trump
did
has
promote
retweeted
it.
other questionable shit too, but okay.
The point is, these are called Q proofs, and so that I'm not trying to convince you Q is real. That's a long shot. I'm just pointing out why I believe it. Because after you see enough Q proofs, you realize that Q is working with Trump. Now, if hold on, Hannah, if something happens and it turns out my crazy theory is right, and Trump is becomes president again this year, will you do another debate with me, or are you going to shy away?
If that were true, I'd probably be underground somewhere, hiding out with a bunch of other people,
Why
trying to resist
why are
the
you
despotic government.
okay? So why are you worried that Trump's going to hurt you? Have you committed treason? Have you done crimes that deserve the death penalty? I don't think you have.
As it turns out, fascist takeovers of the government usually aren't very good for minority populations, including trans
Oh,
people.
oh yeah, he killed a lot of trans people in his administration. Oh wait, he didn't.
He
So
did
how did that work
actually.
out?
He worked to
Oh, he killed
strip
a lot.
medical care from trans people. Yes,
Oh
via
yes,
executive
so
order.
much. Oh yeah, so much slaughtering. You mean
Yeah,
medical care, as in not the taxpayer money not going to operations for trans people? Is that what you're talking about?
that's
Because
probably
that's
part of
different than
it.
killing someone.
Do you know how
Well,
high the suicide rates are for trans people who don't get proper
very
medical
high,
care? Yeah.
very high, very very high. Why do you think that is?
Because society, for one thing, let me tell you, as someone who's trans, you're trapped in a body that feels like a nightmare. It really does. It feels awful. And secondly, society treats trans people really, really poorly. At least a lot of people in society. It's gotten better. Like, the cultural narratives as a whole have gotten more supportive of trans people. But there are trans phobes everywhere that just say the worst kind of things. Up to and including the thread. Let me hold on. Let me pull up the thread that you posted on the not the Donald, sorry,
Yeah,
Great
they wanted
Awakening.
me to say some pretty mean things to you. I was like, nah, I'm not gonna go
Yeah,
there.
let me see. They call me a drag queen. They use the T slur. They tell you to call me fat, which I am fat, but you know. So people like this who are out here all the time saying awful things about trans people, this is a big reason why the trans suicide rates are very high.
Were you aware that a lot of shills and bots go to these places to make the community look bad?
So now we're doing No True Scotsman. Oh, it wasn't actual QAnon supporters who are
It
big
could have been.
pieces of
It
shit.
could have been angry QAnon supporters. I'm not denying that's a possibility, but
It's a lot of comments there.
I can tell you a
if
lot
every transphobic comment in that thread
Not every.
was a non-QAnon person, then
No, not
90%
every.
of the Great Awakening .win would be fake supporters.
Not everyone's like that. I've never said anything like against trans people. The point is, there's a lot of shills and bots that go there who say really negative stuff, even violent stuff. Because if you want to take out the Donald win, you just get a bunch of people to go on there and start saying, let's kill this person, kill that person. Then it's like, oh, this community is violent, promoting violence, and then you take the community down. This is often used on places where Trump or QAnon supporters go.
No,
to
Trump
vilify
supporters
them.
and QAnon supporters just have a lot of really mentally unstable, violent people in them, as we saw on January 6th.
Not mentally unstable. They don't have a high suicide rate. Last time I checked,
Do you think a high suicide rate
supporters.
is the only? And by the way, you did talk about in a previous video fairly recently that you think a lot of Republicans are killing themselves. So that kind of contradicts what you just said.
I didn't say a lot. I said some are getting depressed
Okay.
and I assume committing suicide, but it's
think the
nowhere
only-
near the rate for trans people.
Do you think the only way you can be mentally unstable is to have a high suicide rate?
There are many ways, but
okay.
but considering suicide means there is some level of extreme instability there.
Not necessarily instability. I think you're not understanding suicide if you think it's entirely instability.
Have you ever been suicidal, Hannah?
Oh yeah, I tried to kill myself in high school multiple times.
Okay, we're on the same page because I've been
Not
there
really.
too.
It wasn't because of instability. It's because I felt like my life was a nightmare.
Okay,
because of the transness.
It is because of instability. I've been there. There's no one who is totally calm and relaxed and happy says, I'm going to kill myself. There's some emotional turmoil there.
Are you conflating depression and anxiety with instability?
For sure.
When I say instability, I mean people who are like mentally unwell and have a disconnect from reality.
Okay. If you have anxiety or depression problems, I would say you're mentally unstable for sure.
Okay,
That's
so
my
we have a
definition.
definitions problem there.
For sure, for sure. So, what got you? When did you transition to becoming trans, and what was that all about?
Let's see. I came out probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago, or something like that.
I'm sure
Um,
your parents loved that. Were they angry at you, or
do you really want to go here?
no? Not if you don't want to. I don't want to anger you.
I'd prefer not to, especially considering I'm
For
sure
sure,
you're going to post this on your channel. I'm already going to get a lot of hate for that
for
because your
sure.
followers are pretty transphobic as well, based on the comments that I saw
Are
on
they
your
coming
channel.
to your channel or something, or
I've seen videos that you've covered me on your channel, and they are not very nice about the whole trans thing.
yeah? Hopefully, they're not giving you death threats because that's what I've been getting from your people. But
I did
anyway,
get
I'm
a
glad
couple
you
actually, so thanks.
death threats. I'd like to see those.
They've been deleted.
But
I delete those.
oh, I see. Good cover, good cover. But anyway, you don't have to
Right
say anything you
wingers
don't
being
want to.
transphobic. I
I'm not.
never.
I do plan on posting on my YouTube channel. So anything you're uncomfortable with saying, don't. But I am interested because I've never really talked to a trans person before.
Okay.
I've had a lot of gay friends. I've never talked to a trans person. I'm just wondering like where you're coming from. I don't understand people like this so
Okay.
well. So
I
like
could give you
not
a
an offensive. I'm not gonna make fun of you. This is not a
sure.
bashing trans people.
I can give
That
you
would
a
be horrible.
I can give you a
Go
brief
ahead.
overview, but then I do want to get back
For
to the
sure.
conspiracy stuff because that's
Go
sort of the
ahead.
main point. Um, my entire life, I've known that typical like male centric gender roles don't fit me. They don't feel comfortable. They make me feel I don't like them. I've always preferred things that are more feminine, and especially during puberty, I really hated what was happening to my body. I don't like my body. I don't like my genitalia. Um, so I'm taking steps to amend that, and that's
For
about
sure.
it. This makes me
Okay.
happy.
For
This
sure.
makes me comfortable, which is why I don't understand why people would be upset about that. I understand if it's like odd, because I understand that it's not a typical experience, but all I'm saying to people is this makes me happy and this makes me comfortable and I'm not hurting
Hmm.
anyone. So I don't get why it's anyone else's problem.
It's not, honestly, we live in a free country, do what you want to do. I think the irritation comes from like transgender story time in libraries where they're reading this stuff
Are you
and
talking about are you see here you're
drag
conflating
queen story time.
first of all, you're
That's
conflating drag queens with trans people, which are different things, just for the record.
okay. Well,
Like drag
Republicans kind of
queens typically are like gay men who dress as women for fun, but they don't dress that way
okay.
the rest of the
Well,
time.
people on my side kind of throw drag queens, transgender, gay, all that stuff into one
I
category.
know it's messed up.
Okay. And then if you want to take out the drag queen discussion out of it, the issue that people have is when you're like, oh, I want to be called Z or thee. And if you don't
That
call me
literally
that, then
never happens. What are you? Do you frequent Tumblr circa 2014? When's the last time you actually met someone who
in
ever said
Canada,
that?
you can go to jail and people have
No,
gone
you
to jail. They
can't.
don't call
C16 does not say that. 0 people have gone to jail for C16 because of that reason. Stop reading Jordan Peterson's garbage.
actually, I don't follow Jordan Peterson at all. The point is, it's when people start saying like, oh, a man can consider himself a woman and go into a woman's bathroom. That's when people get uncomfortable.
So you think I should go into a men's bathroom and get assaulted?
Like I said, that's a touchy topic. But if
You
there's
brought
a
it
bunch
up.
of men, if my daughter is 13 years old and a bunch of men who claim to be a woman but look like men or whatever just walk in there and I can't walk in there, I would feel a little bit uncomfortable. Would you not if you were in the same situation?
No, because everyone's just there to pee and poop. Get over it.
Anyway, that's when things get uncomfortable, when there's like people like you have a child whose life might be in danger. That's when people are saying like, hey, you're pushing it too far. But I don't see many Republicans who are
You
like,
know, more
I think
Republican
you start getting
congressmen have
outrageous.
been found guilty of or been caught assaulting people in bathrooms than trans people, right?
What'd you say?
More Republican Congress people have been found to be soliciting sex in bathrooms than trans people. It's an imaginary threat. This is not a thing that happens.
I say this is according to who? One of the fake news articles, or
Well, you're going to call everything fake news,
for
so
sure, for sure. You know I am.
yeah.
That's how this works.
Yeah, it's pretty
Okay.
sad.
Okay. So what's going to happen when the fake news media gets taken down, Trump becomes president? Are you legitimately going to hide? Why are you so scared for your life? I don't understand that. Trump
Are you
never
asking
said, I'm
why I
going to
would be
farm
scared for my life in a situation where a dictator takes over via military rule?
If he, I don't want to talk about, election fraud or anything like that, but if he's, long story short, if he becomes president legally and he's not harming anyone
He's
and he's
not,
saving
because he
lives,
lost the election.
okay. Well, if he becomes president, I don't understand what you're so afraid of. If he becomes president, let's say he becomes president legally, why would
He
you
wouldn't. That's
run away and
literally.
hide?
It'd be like if you
Okay,
said, "Well, what if it starts
hypothetical.
raining
Hypothetical.
peanut butter tomorrow?" Like it's not. There's no version of this where it would be legal to take over the country via military coup.
So, but hypothetical, what are you so afraid of? I think this is
You're
just a lot
asking
of
what I'm so afraid of with right-wing extremists taking over the country and becoming a dictator?
Hold on. Antifa and BLM are the people occupying areas with guns. There's no right-wing extremism. That's all
What do you
fake
think
news.
happened on January 6th, Peter? Just curious.
I'll tell you exactly what happened.
Here it comes.
A bunch of people, Antifa and BLM, dressed up as Republicans and broke in. There were some Republicans that went in afterwards, but the people who broke in were actually BLM dressing up.
No, they weren't,
They knew this was
Peter.
gonna happen.
No, they weren't. The
all right,
QAnon
so if I'm
shaman
wrong-
was there.
Okay, so if this turns out to be 100% Republican and there was no BLM people dressing up Republicans, you'll give me $100, right? I mean, you're so confident in it. You want to make $100 bet on it? Let's go.
No.
I see. So you're not that confident in that statement, huh? I guess
No,
we'll
I'm
find out,
confident,
won't we?
but you're gonna point out like one person who's been to a Black Lives Matter rally, and then you're gonna
least a
decide that
dozen.
that person is
At
BLM.
least that the people who initially broke the windows and infiltrated.
No, see,
the
they
first
didn't.
people
I
to go
actually, one of the other people I cover regularly, Bryson Gray. Do you know Bryson Gray? You might.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
He's like a MAGA rapper. You might like his stuff. I think it's garbage, but you might like him. His friend was there, and he talked about on camera. He was like, "My friend broke the window," and I reported him to the FBI for that, and they ended up visiting him. So.
I'm waiting to see. There's trials going on. There's investigations going on. What I hear is that this was BLM Antifa trying to make Republicans look
Yeah, you hear
bad.
that from other conspiracy theorists.
We'll find out. I guess we'll find out because the truth eventually
You're
comes
right.
out.
A bunch have
You
already
believe
been
the truth?
arrested. Surprise!
Do you believe
There
the
are people...
truth will eventually come out? Do you believe that?
I do. I think a lot of it already has, and they found people who are members of Proud Boys or members of, oh god, what's the police one where it's
Yeah, according to the fake news, I'm sure. If you read
Again,
some real news, you realize
it seems like you define fake news by either things you like or things you don't like.
anyone who is controlling the narrative with lies is fake news, which is
So One American News and Newsmax.
In your opinion, yeah.
Great.
But not in reality.
I don't think you're exactly the perfect person to ask about reality. Anyway,
we'll see when Trump comes back. But you promise you'll debate me later on, right? Just promise me you'll debate me when
Trump comes back and becomes the president via military coup, I will gladly chat with you from a cave somewhere with my AR-15.
I appreciate it. Because right now it's a little bit more fun for you because Biden is president. But once Trump becomes president, this conversation will be a little bit more funny on my side. But I'm confident that he'll be president. Do you believe in the cabal or New World Order, any of that? Or you think there's no corruption? I see.
Wait, you just conflated, is there a cabal with no corruption? You understand that there's a middle ground, right? I don't think there's a cabal, but I recognize there's corruption in places of power.
Okay. But you don't believe there's like a New World Order, depopulation plan, or anything like that?
No.
I see.
By the way, can you define deep state for me? You use the term deep state a lot. Different people have different definitions. So how would you define deep state?
Deep state is, I would define it as people who are being controlled or compromised, blackmailed, basically politicians in the government, whether it's military or CIA or Department of Justice, that their strings are being pulled by some other nefarious group like the cabal, Illuminati, or whatever.
And who is this nefarious group? Who is the cabal?
I believe there is a deep state cabal Illuminati that has been pulling the strings for a long time.
And who
That
who
Obama
are the
was
members of this? Like who are the cabal?
I can't name all of them, but you can name like the Rothschilds family, the Rockefellers, Bill Gates. They do the people, but those are just the not even the higher ups. They're people even higher who obviously don't want to give up their name. There's a reason you don't want to give up your name, obviously, because once you give out your name publicly, you open yourself to be doxxed and other stuff like that. So, and to be found. So the people who are
My
the
name
very
is
top.
Hanna. I'm legally changing it to Hanna. So
Oh,
that's
okay. Well, I'm not going to say the real name here, but the point is
the other name is also available online. So
okay.
I'm
Well,
trans.
obviously,
Trans people don't typically like when you use their dead name. It's not about secretism. It's about
I see. Okay. Well, the point is the people at the top hide their identity, location, name because they know people will get at would feel angry that they're controlling the world and doing evil things. But below them, you can find the Rothschilds, Bill Gates, Rockefeller.
why
Stuff
do you
like
think that they're evil? Now, here's the thing. I don't like a lot of these
Depopulation.
people either because they're billionaires. I don't like billionaires. I think it's bullshit. I don't think anyone should have that much money. But the thing is, Donald Trump is also in that group. Donald Trump is also an ultra wealthy person.
So you're against people who worked and honestly made $1 billion?
I don't think it's possible for someone to honestly make $1 billion.
Oh, I see. So should we just tax people until all the billionaires flee the country, or what's your plan?
Where are they going to move?
Well, what we've seen is the higher the taxes, the more they hide their money in the Cayman Islands.
Okay,
or
so you stop them from doing that.
It's very difficult. It's never been happened. You can't really stop them if they have all these shell companies in Panama or in the Cayman Islands. Or there's a lot of places
there's
you
no
can hide your money.
regulation that could be passed that would stop them from doing that? You think that there's
It's
absolutely
very
no
difficult.
way?
It's very difficult, especially with cryptocurrencies. It's a lot. It's very once you raise taxes, the whole market for hiding your money, shell companies, cryptocurrencies, any way of hiding your money increases dramatically because now there's a huge demand for it.
So you crack down on that, or you continue to raise them until a point where it equals out.
So let's say you were a billionaire and they said, we're going to raise taxes to 90% and take 90% of your wealth. You don't think that you as a billionaire would be able to find someone?
Do you understand how marginal tax rates work?
I'm happy if you want to explain it to me. I don't know something specific about marginal tax
rate does not mean that all of your income gets taxed at 90%. You understand that, right?
No, actually, I didn't understand that. But
that's
the
not how
point
tax
I'm making,
rates work. You don't get taxed on the entirety of your money in the United States. You get income tax brackets. So your first $10,000 to $12,000, I'm not sure what it is now, very low to no taxes depending on your situation, and then the tax rate goes up on each bracket. So your 12 to 30 or something is taxed at a different rate. And then if you have like millions and millions of dollars, specifically that money is taxed at a higher rate. But your entire amount of money does not get taxed at 90%.
Okay, my point is, if you start siphoning away all the money from billionaires, the demand and market for ways to hide money increases, and eventually
so you crack down on that.
You can't crack down on it that easily.
Why?
Especially with you have cryptocurrencies, for example. Okay. How are you going to steal someone's Bitcoin? You don't know where it is. You don't know the password.
Don't track Bitcoin transactions for legal
reasons? They track it. It's open. It's open. You can track it, but can you get someone's password? No, not if they have a password on their. How are you gonna get the password out?
Okay,
how are you gonna get the hard drive?
I don't give a shit. What? I think cryptocurrency is stupid in the first place.
Well, the point is, the market for hiding your wealth will increase dramatically as taxes go up. You think socialism works? Or what about Venezuela?
Define socialism.
Basically, redistribution of wealth.
In what way?
Unfairly by the government.
Not really. Basically, socialism is usually like when industry gets nationalized or it's controlled and owned by the workers themselves.
So if socialism works, can you point out an example of one country that is socialist and that is thriving?
What do you mean by socialism? Do you mean like pop socialism?
Venezuela,
the way you're describing?
You know what socialism. Venezuela is socialism. Do you want to become a Venezuela? You think that's good for the country?
Is there another U.S. out there that's going to sanction us to shit?
Venezuela went downhill because of socialism, giving everyone free stuff. Socialism doesn't work. You literally think that raising taxes and giving everyone free stuff is going to solve all problems. Rich people would stay in the country and be happy to give it away, and that it's all going to work out fine.
Do you know that during one of America's most prosperous periods in the 1950s and 60s, the highest tax rate was 90%?
Keep that up for a little while and see what happens. We
did.
It
was during America's greatest growth in economic sense.
Well, if you keep it up, if you keep it there for long enough, eventually rich people leave. There's a reason that it's not there anymore. It would have crashed
rich people.
the whole economy.
I don't give a shit about rich people.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the whole thing with socialism. It's all entitlement. I am entitled to.
But it's not entitlement to think that you should have billions and billions of dollars that you didn't earn.
You did earn it. Billionaires do earn it.
No, they don't. The people that work for them earn it.
I believe most billionaires do corrupt things, government subsidies, stuff like that to earn it. But if a billionaire earns it honestly, which some do, I think Trump is an example of that. I'm sure he'll disagree.
Trump was born rich. Trump was born rich.
He was given money for sure. I'm not going to deny that. He was given money
and tons of property in New York right before the economy there boomed after it got cleaned up.
I'm not saying he wasn't given stuff from his family. That everyone knows that. But the point is, he wasn't given billions of dollars, which is what he's worth now. So he earned it eventually.
Again, and he was given, he said, a small loan of $1 million, which I think was like $20 million using inflation from when he got it. And then he was also given tons of property, real estate in New York right before it all went up, which is worth a lot of money. So, but anyway, I want to talk about the conspiracy stuff. Can we get back to the conspiracy stuff? Because this is bullshit conversation that we're not going to get anywhere on. Let me see. Oh, you've mentioned... I noticed in passing on some of your videos, you mentioned aliens.
Yes. I love that topic. Please get into that one.
Do you believe that aliens have visited the planet Earth?
If you want to go down the rabbit hole, I'll give you a lot of stuff to amuse your audience. I personally have been abducted by aliens.
What?
Do you want to go down that wormhole? I'll tell you all my alien stories.
Please, tell me about you getting abducted by aliens, Peter. I've never wanted to hear anything more in my entire life.
Heck yeah, we're on the same page, Hanna. So I was in college, out in the forest, taking a walk at night with a friend, and he points up at the sky, and he's like, hey, look, there's an orb in this. People have been seeing lights in the sky. I was like, oh, that's interesting. And then he points up the sky, and there's like a weird ball of light in the sky, but it was dark. And since I've lived next to airports all my life, I know that it could be anything. But it was weird. I've lived next to airports my whole life. I know what a plane, a helicopter, or drone looks like in the air. This was different. It was just a ball of light hovering there. But anyway, I didn't know what to make of it. A week later, I'm in my dorm room, and this weird creature or some type of human that looked like half human, half alien. My dorm room was open. He walks by and he just stares at me. He walks by. I was like, what the hell? And then this guy somehow, in the course of a few days, befriends all my friends, like 10 or 12 friends, invites us to a barbecue with his hot girlfriend at a schoolhouse. And we all go to this barbecue at this schoolhouse, this abandoned schoolhouse that he bought supposedly for like $70,000. We're having a barbecue. He's like, hey, this is my band schoolhouse. You guys all want to go on the roof? I said, sure. So we all get invited to go on the roof. And as the last person climbs up, we climbed up a ladder to get to the roof. No one was doing alcohol. There was no cannabis, no psychedelics, nothing involved. We were all sober. As the last person climbed to the top of the roof, this was 3 or 4 p.m., blue sky, pretty much no clouds. Someone points up the sky and sees an orb of light. And we were like, what in the world is that? Totally looks like a UFO orb. And then all of a sudden, another one appears, and then another, and another. So there were, I think, about as many orbs in the sky as there were people. And then they started dancing around. And I could tell you this from my research, I was like, these are aliens. So we were like freaking out, getting so excited. And then like that, my memory disappears. And everyone else's memory disappears. The next thing we remember, we were having another campfire that we don't remember building next to the schoolhouse, and we're just talking about like whipped cream and food, and no one's mentioned that we just talked about we just seen aliens. And then a week later, I was like, hey, I remember seeing aliens in the sky, and then my memory goes out. So I asked my friends, like, what happened? Because some people say like, oh, you hallucinated. And then I talked to my friends, who are like, oh, I remember that too. But my memory got cut off, and one of my friends said he saw one of the crafts fly down and shine a light on us. And then what's weird is that it's multiple people, so it's not like me making up the story. We all experienced it. We have memory deletion, which is common abduction stories, and we have orbs in the sky, which I can't explain, and they were all floating around. They had invisibility cloaks because it went from blue sky to an orb all of a sudden. So they were taking off their invisibility cloak. I don't have any way to explain it. I do have more abduction stories, but that was the first one, and I had no way to explain it.
You have more. This has happened to you more than once.
At least 2 more times, I think.
Please,
sure.
I need to know. I need to know about these.
Okay. Well, since we're on the same page, the next time I was sleeping, this was like 4 years ago, I think, in my room with my daughter, my wife, and they were asleep. I'm an insomnia, so I couldn't fall asleep. The door was completely locked. Everything was locked in the house, and it was just an extremely creaky apartment. You just walk in here, floorboards, because it was a cheap apartment. I hear someone walking, boom, boom, someone walking to my door, and I start freaking out, and I was like, what in the world is happening? And then I was like, did I lock the door? The balcony was locked. What in the world happened? And I was getting very, very scared. I literally was freaking out. I put the covers over my head, and then I hear them get to the door of my bedroom. I hear the squeaky doorknob open. It opens, and then my memory disappears from then. And then next thing I remember, I'm sleeping on my stomach, which I never do. My head is at the feet of the bed, which has never happened before. And for the first time in 10 years, I slept through the night the whole time. I didn't wake up to go to the bathroom. And then I was wondering, was this a dream? Did I hear something? Why do I have memory deletion? Why am I my head on the feet of the bed? But I talked to my neighbor below, told him about it. And he said, oh, I saw the aliens that abducted you. And I said, what do you mean? Are you kidding? He's like, no, I saw the UFO that abducted you. And I said, stop joking around. I was like, no, seriously, I'll show it to you. I recorded them. I said, what? Show me the video. And he shows a video that was recorded at the time that I was being abducted. And you have the same orb that I saw initially when I was in university floating over our apartment. And he's like, clearly, he's like, I've seen UFOs. That's a UFO. I was like, yeah, that's clearly a UFO to me.
Do you have this video anywhere?
Oddly enough, I asked him for the video later on. I didn't think to ask him that day, which is very dumb. I asked him later on. He said he deleted it. And I was like, oh,
that's
man,
convenient.
But basically, it's an orb in the sky.
Proof
it wasn't like a beam of light shining on me, lifting me up. It wasn't something amazing. It was just an orb in the sky, steady, not making noise. And yeah, I've had some other really weird alien experiences.
All right, I'm going to present that all without comment. Thank you for sharing, Peter.
So you think we're alone in the universe? It's just Earth?
I don't, actually. I find it interesting that you're Christian, but you believe in aliens. A lot of Christians don't.
It's rare. My church is not happy about that. Their belief is that we're the only people in the universe, and I am a little bit of a black sheep for believing in aliens. Most Christians don't believe in aliens because it contradicts their view on Earth and humanity and the Bible and God. But it's rare. But if you're abducted 3 or 4 times, that changes your mind a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's other life in the universe. I don't, however, think it has visited us, nor do I think they probably will. Yeah.
So you believe in aliens, but you just don't believe they're here yet.
Yeah, I think the distances are pretty insurmountable, but hey, again, human beings have said that about a lot of stuff over time, you know? I'm sure hundreds of years ago people would have said, oh, traveling around the globe in a couple days, that's impossible, but I don't think that
the way that they travel through vast pieces of areas of time is using a wormhole technology that basically folds time, and they don't travel through time and space, they literally travel through time. It's some type of time machine technology.
So they're time traveling aliens.
That is the only way to travel far distances with aliens. The only way to get from here to the nearest star system is to either a wormhole or time technology. There's no other way because it would take too long.
Where are you getting that information? Just curious.
I've done a ton of research on aliens. You get abducted over and over again, you start researching everything about aliens.
Okay.
There's a website called Gaia, GAIA.com, and they have a show called Cosmic Disclosure where a bunch of whistleblowers have come out and talked about working for secret space programs, which, by the way, is the new Space Force. There is information coming out about crafts in the sky. Millions of people have seen these orbs of light in the sky, these crafts. Are you saying that none of that is UFO, that's all man-made?
They're UFOs, but UFO means unidentified flying object. I don't think UFO is synonymous.
You don't think
with...
none of the... So what about the tens of millions of people who say they've been abducted? Is that all hallucinations?
I think a lot of it's sleep paralysis.
But my experience was with 12 other people while I was wide awake in the middle of the day with memory deletion and multiple orbs in the sky. How would you explain that one?
I would have to talk to those other people to see if they actually corroborate your story if you're just saying it.
And if they did?
That's a good question. I don't know. I would think that you all got collectively drugged before I would assume you were abducted by aliens. I'm not kidding. Someone could have spiked something you were all drinking.
Spiked the hamburgers for sure. Either that or it was aliens.
So you did eat food collectively beforehand.
We had a barbecue from this really weird guy who looked like a half alien, half human hybrid.
Did he happen to put mushrooms on the burger?
It could have been possible because who knows what. That was a crazy experience. Like either we were drugged up.
I think he drugged you, Peter. I think he drugged all of you.
Well, that doesn't explain how when you get drugged, you see different things. We didn't see any psychedelic experiences. Have you ever done mushrooms?
Yes,
I have.
Okay.
I have. And you're not completely, it's not like you suddenly see an orb in the sky. That's not a psychedelic experience. You get high, things start looking weird, auditory starts looking weird. It's very different than being totally sober, not being high, and seeing orb in the sky, and then memory deletion. And then you don't remember how you got down the schoolhouse.
It probably depends on what he spiked your burgers with.
And also, even if you were to say, oh, that was a psychedelic experience, you can't explain like my other abduction experiences or other weird things.
Those sound like sleep paralysis.
Oh, sleep paralysis. So how is it that I slept through the whole night and my friend caught a UFO flying over? There's no credibility to that?
I would imagine that's probably a coincidence.
I see. Well, I do have other alien experience stories if you're interested, but
we can probably save those for another conversation if we decide to have one.
For sure.
Let me see what other questions I have. Actually, I asked the last question. Did you have any questions?
Well, I'm just wondering. My main thing is like I'm wondering why you're so afraid that you have to like run for your lives. Trump is not gonna kill transgender people or anything like that. What do you think he's gonna do? Round up all transgender people and kill them?
I think a lot of his followers probably would if they were emboldened by a military coup. If it wouldn't happen immediately, it would happen over time. When fascists take power, it doesn't usually happen all at once.
Do you think there's gonna be some type of civil war if nothing happens? Because once you have a bunch of angry Republicans right now with guns who feel like the election was stolen, not feel like they know it's stolen. So then you don't think there's going to be, if something doesn't happen to ease the tensions, it could escalate at some point?
If it did, they would be taken down by the military. The government does not take kindly to insurrectionists, as we saw on the 20th.
And what's your take on all this?
Sorry.
Antifa and BLM and all the violence that they're doing. Are you for that, or?
Does it really matter? They also got attacked by the government on multiple occasions.
I think they were part of the plan to instigate civil war, to provoke Republicans to attack. I think that's all part of the inciting violence, trying to start civil war.
It's not.
It's not?
No.
What's your take on the whole, all the money that was going to BLM, which was supposed to make Black people's lives better, was funded into a Democratic PAC to support Democrats? Is that a scam to you, or is that not a scam?
Not necessarily. They're advocating for policies that would help the lives of Black people. That's kind of how our political system works.
Like the lowest unemployment ever for Black people that Trump
this is interesting, actually. I can bring this up. The unemployment rate for Black people went down the most under Obama, and then it slowed down under Trump, but it was a little bit more. So Trump was like, lowest unemployment, even though the unemployment rate, the decrease in unemployment rate actually slowed. Hold on, I can pull up a thing about it.
Are you saying for black people and all people, or is this just for black people?
This is for black people.
So Obama gets credit for the economy, the low unemployment rate, the growth jobs. Obama gets credit for all of that? Is that what you're saying?
I don't think the president has the amount of power that some people give him, but black unemployment went down the most under Obama. Yeah.
Oh, really? So,
it did.
I mean, you know what I'm going to say to that. Either there's a little bit of truth to it, or the fake news is spinning something.
Again, anytime I say something you don't like, you just classify it as fake news.
Well, they've lied a lot about a lot of stuff. So how
do you determine what's a lie? Just based on whether or not it fits with your predetermined notion that Trump is a god emperor that's going to save you?
I think that if they get caught lying over and over and over again, yeah. For example, all these attacks on QAnon, like, for example, one lie is they say QAnon believes Democrats, period, are all eat babies, which is crazy. No single Q follower believes that.
That's untrue. I've actually seen Q followers say things along those lines.
That all Democrats.
People have accused me of that shit.
Of eating babies. What was that conspiracy they made about you?
Someone thought I was a lizard person.
At this point, I'm not doubting it, Hannah.
That's true. I am a lizard person. They were actually right.
I knew it. You're the guy that adopted me, huh?
Yeah. I just wanted to check in and see how you're doing.
This part of the experiment, testing my intelligence.
Yeah, we're seeing if the chips we put in your brain to make you susceptible to conspiracy theories are working, and they seem to be. Honestly, I think we need to turn the settings down a little bit. They're a little extreme.
Well, let's see if I have any other questions. Would you be willing to denounce what you said about that I want to kill it? Do you, after talking to me and hearing how I have saved a lot of lives and I only want mass murderers to go to trial, would you be willing to take back that statement that give me death threats that I want to kill? Do you generally believe I want to kill everyone who disagrees with me?
I'll qualify the statement. How about that? I'll qualify it for you. I don't think that intentionally you are advocating for people that are decent people to get hurt. I think unintentionally you are advocating for a system that would, without the knowledge that it would. You are advocating for a fascist dictatorship take over the United States, which would hurt and kill a lot of innocent people, but you don't see it that way.
For sure. I'll take that. But do you have no video clips of me or anything ever saying that I want to kill you or your supporters? You were just assuming, extrapolating based on the system that I want.
Sure.
I'll take it. So, because there are a lot of your supporters who are like, I spent hours researching. I think I found your address. I'm going to pay you a visit. And I'm like, whoa,
yeah,
why are you so angry?
Those aren't my followers. Sorry.
I see. Well, let's see if I have any other questions.
Yeah, I think someone in chat's like, is he trying to sue you? Don't try and sue me, Peter.
Well, you don't have an LLC, so I could take all your assets, but I don't think you're an evil person. What?
You wouldn't.
I wouldn't be able to sue you? Is this a challenge, Hannah?
It's not. I just would prefer you not, and I think you'd prefer not either. You're already short for money, considering your YouTube channel, your big one, got deleted. So let's just not. Yeah. We could keep this cordial, and that'd be great.
As long as you clarify. And hopefully you can even take down that video, because there are people, there are viewers who are not watching the stream, who watch that video and think I'm going to kill them. They took you seriously, Hannah. You may want to take down that video. I downloaded it for legal purposes, but like I said, a lawsuit is going to probably cost more than what I'll get from you. Are you rich, Hannah? I want to know if a lawsuit.
I'm actually very poor, so that would be a waste of your time.
Dang it, 10 years? How much money are you making from ads? I'm sure you're making.
That's definitely private.
You can't be that poor. What?
Oh, I'm very poor. I'm destitute. This is actually my only shirt. This is the only room in my house.
No, I know you have a Satan Loves You shirt. I saw that one the other day.
That's true. Satan gave me that one personally, actually. So.
I'm guessing that's just to trigger Christians. Was that to trigger me? Is that why you made it for me? You made it in that video?
I did wear it in that video because I thought it was funny. Yes.
I see. Well, I would appreciate if you took that video down. I'm
not going to take that video down.
You're not going to take that video down?
No.
All right. Well, I'll keep on asking my supporters to report you until it gets taken down. But I'll leave it at that. I do have the video evidence. I did download it in case I ever get rich enough to sue you. I'll consider it. You seem like a nice person, especially since you're not a Satanist. I'm leaning towards not suing you. But
Have you
it's
ever
tempting knowing you don't have an LLC. It's really tempting.
You would be considered, just for the record, you would be considered a limited purpose public figure, so the bar for defamation is very high. All it would do was waste a lot of our time until it got dismissed by the court. Don't waste both of our money. You have kids to take care of.
But you know, it would be good if you took that video down because you are inciting violence a little bit with that video.
I'm
With
really
the death
not.
threats. I mean, there are people who watch that videos and say that I want to kill them and stuff like that. You know, I'm glad you're not a Satanist, but like if you have a moral backbone and you know I'm getting death threats because of that video, I think it would be smart to take that down. Unless you really don't care about the death threats I'm getting. Do you care at all, or do you
I
not
do,
care?
but those are not because of my followers. My followers don't do that shit.
Really?
Correct.
They said Hannah told me. So blah 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 blah. So which Hannah are they referring to? Me or?
Do you have those saved?
I can send you some for sure.
Great, do it.
I mean, I deleted a lot of these things until I realized they're coming from you. Then I was like, oh gosh, maybe I should take these as evidence.
I have screenshots of people from your channel threatening to kill us too, so for the record.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Well, I've never incited violence towards you.
I've never incited violence towards you.
Great. I guess we'll leave it at that then.
Great.
You have any other questions?
I do. Let me see.
Go for it.
You said you think Lynn Wood is 100% credible, but you also noted he said January 20th would be the storm. So how is he credible if he got that date categorically wrong?
I defined credibility in one of my videos as being an honest person who tells what he believes is the truth, not as someone who's factually accurate every single time.
Okay, then what's the point of credibility if you can't use it to determine whether or not someone's statements are actually true, regardless of their personal belief in those statements?
The whole point I was bringing up with credibility was, and I defined credibility as being different than someone who's factually accurate. If someone is credible, then you can count on a lot of their information being truthful, but if they're not factually accurate, obviously they're going to get some stuff wrong.
So is there anyone that you think is 100% factually accurate in regard to this circle?
Just you, Hannah. You're the only one.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
I think that other than the misinformation that Trump puts out to trip up the deep state, he is going to keep his promises and he's going to come back and do something. You heard that he said our brightest days are just ahead to Republicans.
Yeah,
you don't think that means he's coming back?
No, you seem like really focused on that. It's in the intro to all of your videos.
Yes. Yes. Because he doesn't lie. So
Trump lies a lot. Trump lies a lot, actually.
I see. You don't think that he can just say, guys, everything's going to be great soon, but vote again for me in 2024. And if nothing happens, people will be like, well, you promised things are going to be great and things went to hell, but now we're going to vote for you? You think he can just lie? Yeah, I think
Trump supporters are really culty, so yes, I think they would vote for him. But I don't know if he's going to run in 2024. He might do a campaign to get some money, but I don't know if he will. He'll be pretty old by then, and he's not in the best shape.
He will need to. He will be back because the military is backing him. You saw did you read the article where Biden sent people to the Pentagon asking for information? The Pentagon denied them. What's your response to that?
My response to that would be Biden appointed a Department of Justice head now. Or no, what was it? Sorry. He appointed a new head of the person who deals with the Pentagon. I forget specifically what it was.
No, that's I saw that he appointed someone, but what did you read the political article where he sent people to the Pentagon, asked them for information, the Pentagon said, we're not giving you information. We've been getting orders not to give
Pentagon's sketchy as fuck, so I have no idea.
Okay, so you have no answer to why the Pentagon is not cooperating. To a certain extent, some of it's not cooperating with the Biden administration.
I haven't read anything about that, so I can't comment on it.
It's a political article.
Oh, that was before the inauguration, my chat is saying? Well, that would do it.
That was after the inauguration.
Do you have a source on that?
Sure, I can pull it
Preferably
up.
one that is not One America News or
I think that one's
Newsmax.
Pentagon, Biden cooperating. I think it's a political article.
Other people in chat are also saying it was before he became president. So
No, it was after. It was after. Let me pull it up for a second. Well, I'll send it to you later. I can't find it this second.
okay, let me see if I can find it. Pentagon. Someone linked it in chat. Thank you, chat. You're always wonderful.
Pentagon, Biden blocked.
Here we go.
Yes,
really quite shocking. Inside the ugly transition at the Pentagon, the effort to obstruct the Biden team is unprecedented in modern presidential transition and will hobble the new administration on key security matters. The Pentagon blocked members of President Joe Biden's incoming administration from gaining... Yeah, incoming administration. This was prior to the inauguration.
There was an article that came out afterward talking about how information was being blocked.
Yeah, that was about before the inauguration. Because Trump was stonewalling and not allowing the transition team to do stuff.
Can't find it right now, but there was one that was.
I did find it.
afterwards.
It's in the chat. Here it is. Boop. Can I send you a message on here? Let me see. Well, it's in the chat if you want to click on it.
That's not the article, I don't think.
Do you think it's not the article because it directly contradicts your statement?
There was an article that came out afterwards. I'm trying to find what the keywords were, but the article was after Biden became president, he sent people to the Pentagon and said, maybe I'll use that keyword, ordered information. I can't find it right now. Happy to send it to you later. Maybe they took it down, but I'm sure it's up there somewhere. Basically, they were not cooperating at all with him.
Prior to the inauguration, because Trump was telling
departments. It was
not
after the date of the article was after the inauguration. I think they may have taken it down because it made Biden look bad, or maybe it's still up and I just can't find it right now. I'll send it to you if I do find it. Is there any other theories of mine or anything that you want to talk about, or?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. You mentioned, where is this? I have two things about the truck. You think Biden isn't actually in the Oval Office. And one of your reasons was because there was a photo of Biden with a truck behind him. If you look at the stream, here's a picture of Trump in the Oval Office with cars directly behind him in the same place that there were trucks in the Biden image. There's one
that's a different angle.
There's one right here, and there's a road right here.
Well, if you look at the video that I said, they're coming at a different angle. From that angle, you're going to see cars. But if you turn it the angle that Biden was, there shouldn't be a truck, because where the truck is basically where a bunch of trees are supposed to be. Okay,
but also here, you looked at a picture that just showed this circular path, but this is where the truck was parked in the Biden image and where they were in the Trump image. There are access roads right here, too, that weren't on the image that you were using, so.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, it sure is interesting, isn't it? A little bit of research is a beautiful thing.
I can't explain that one.
You don't say.
I didn't see that in the floor plan. But if those roads are real, you could explain it for sure.
Yep. Let me see. What else did I have on my notes that I wanted to talk about?
Oh, I have one other question, if you're happy to bring it up. What do you think about the Biden body double theory?
I think it's untrue.
Are you willing to show the before and after Biden body double pictures? If you're
You
so
mean one of a
confident.
younger Biden and one of an older Biden?
One person with a different ear. They have different ears, different eye color.
You could send it, sure. I'll show it.
Okay.
I know, we gotta talk about Air Force One too at some point. Chat's just telling me.
Hanna. All right, I send it to you. There's a lot of pictures in DuckDuckGo. If you put Biden body double, it's a completely different Biden. If you
Did
look
you
at the
email
ear,
it to me, or did you...
I did email
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Let me open my Gmail, sorry.
You see that the old Biden has a bit of a curve that goes up like this in his ear, and the new Biden has it attached here. There's no curve that goes up to his ear, and also the eyes are different, the chins are different. The old Biden and new Biden look very different. I don't think it's age difference. I think there's something going on there. It's a different person.
People age, though. It's really not. First of all, these pictures are from completely different angles. And secondly...
Can you zoom in on that, or?
Yeah, I can. Oops. Why did that do that? Oh, DuckDuckGo
Why is it that
weird.
the new Biden has no curvature up into here, and the old Biden, his ear went up like this?
I don't know. Weird stuff happens to people as they age.
Really? You think that's an aging thing? You think
I
these
don't
are the
know.
same?
I would definitely need to see more pictures than this, but it's not a body double.
Put Biden body double on DuckDuckGo and show people.
Oh, Jesus Christ. This is, you sent me that. Here's images of him
That one right
again.
below.
He's just
That one, yeah.
older.
You telling me that's the same person?
Yeah.
Your audience thinks they
Oh,
look
did he
exactly
get a
the same.
facelift? Okay, someone's telling me he got a facelift. Which, as an old politician, wouldn't surprise me.
Go scroll down, exit that, scroll down till you find a bunch of Bidens from different years.
Okay,
You'll see
here's
how
one.
they're different all of a sudden.
But they're
Scroll down.
not. They're the same guy.
No, not that one, not that one.
Keep
Scroll down a
scrolling.
little bit. Nope, keep scrolling down.
This one?
That one. That one right there to the right, that one. You see Biden's consistently the same, and all of a sudden in 2016, it's a different one.
Yeah, he probably got work done because he's old and his eyelids were drooping, so he needed to get face shit done. He's also just
The
older.
ears different, the eyes are different, everything's different. You say that's all plastic surgery?
I think it's a mixture of that, and he's older. It looks like the same guy.
I think that eyes are different, the ears are different, nose is different, everything's totally different all of a sudden.
Can I ask you something, too? You happen
sure.
to mention that you believe that this individual, Steve Martin, might be playing Biden. You think Steve Martin is secretly Biden?
This was something that was hinted at by someone called Ghost Ezra. But then Ghost Ezra started talking about the flat Earth theory, and I was like, I take back ever endorsing anything this person said. I think the whole when he started.
Sorry,
go ahead. Once he started talking about the flat Earth theory, then I told my followers, actually, I don't believe anything this guy's saying. But he's pushing the theory that the people look different, and like Biden looks different, Kamala Harris looks different. She got a very fatty neck with that. They're wearing masks, and we're watching some type of show, and the real Biden and Kamala is in Guantanamo Bay in a military tribunal, and we're watching some movie. Guantanamo, yes. Who knows? I think we'll find out what's really going on by the end of the year.
Hold on, let me Google
we'll have another debate then.
Biden plastic surgery. Let me see if anything comes up for this. Yeah, here's the thing from the Washington Examiner saying Biden has had cosmetic surgery. He got a facelift before the 2020 campaign. Like, you can see here, this is actually a really good thing of his ears, too. Like, you can still see his ears look relatively the same at this angle.
Well, that's the body double version. And of course, no, that's the current version, not the old version. So that doesn't explain the.
See, he's got a scar right here where they did do work on his ears. Yeah.
I don't know. This seems like they're covering up for the fact that Biden looks really different. I don't think that's the real Biden.
Okay.
I think that's something else is going on there. Why would you do plastic surgery to attach your ear here? Is that like more attractive or something?
They were probably
I don't know.
drooping. They were probably drooping, and it was making him look older.
I see. I see.
All right, let me see what else we got. Air Force One. Let's talk about Air Force One.
Go for it.
By the way, do you have a specific time you need to be done? I just
My wife said 1 hour, but I'm having fun, so I'm not gonna end it.
All right, you can blame it on me if your wife is mad.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, I just got a lot of followers. Okay, weird. Thank you, people who are following. Let's talk about Air Force One. So you think Biden doesn't have access to Air Force One for some reason?
I've seen videos of Biden going into an Air Force One.
Yeah.
But then I've seen some weird stuff like the first video of him going into Air Force One. The cars and everything looked a little weird and sketchy. I'll send you the video.
Okay.
Like why would the presidential car that Biden is in be all dirty and scratched up? Biden going into Air Force One first time.
Are you emailing it to me again?
Yes.
Okay. I'll just assume email from now on. Sorry.
First time. Biden Air Force One first time. Where is it? Not the one where he's stumbling. This is the first time. Where is it?
Also, you know that any plane the president is on is classified as Air Force One, right? It's a call sign.
Yeah, I do know it's a call sign. There are people who are saying that when Biden goes on supposedly a presidential plane, that it doesn't get the Air Force One signal.
And who said that?
People who are experts at planes that they have a whole YouTube channel about. They say like, look, you just got on.
People is saying, so many people. Wow, why am I getting so many followers? Did you like post this somewhere? Just I'm getting a lot of followers all of a sudden.
Here, let me send you a link. Can you open this link and show this?
Yeah. Did you already send it? I'm not seeing an email.
Yeah, It's a new email.
Seriously though, I'm just asking. I don't care. But did you post this somewhere? Just because I'm getting like all of a sudden tons of followers.
Yeah, I did tell. I mean, I told my viewers that.
I just mean recently, like in the last 10 minutes or so.
No.
Interesting.
No.
I wonder who linked to this then.
It's just bots from China. You know how it is.
I don't think so. Because I've
it's
gained
probably your followers.
Probably 500 followers this stream. Which is
It could be a bunch of bots.
I guess it could be. I don't know. Let me see. Live. That's the button. I didn't see a raid or anything. Who knows though? Okay, so this is someone doing a photo shoot? Or
so
shooting
this
a
is
movie?
like this is some of the evidence where they're like they could green screen at him going into Air Force One.
I mean, this looks like a movie though. It looks like they're shooting a movie.
Well, you never know. Maybe the whole Biden going to Air Force One could be CGI. I mean, that's why they sent it to me.
And why do you think that? Because we have tons of videos of him getting on Air Force One. There was a pretty, let me see. Biden falling Air Force One. He pulled a Gerald Ford a while back. Like, this isn't CGI. This is him actually going up to Air Force One, and he trips, and he eats shit.
Yeah, YouTube just got so many videos of him tripping. I'm trying to find the one where his vehicles look sketchy. comes in a. For some reason I'm not finding it anymore. That's odd.
Like, mostly the tripping video comes out, but you can also see other things. Here he is with a motorcade of people in armored vehicles and shit. Air Force One, or not Air Force One, sorry, the Secret Service. And then they go up to Air Force One, which is clearly real. Shot from all sorts of different angles. Like, this is Air Force One. He's getting on it. And then it takes off immediately. Like, this isn't what CGI looks like.
All right, well, I can't find the original video, but I found a video of someone making fun of the video. Basically, but it's just low quality. Biden went into the Air Force One in a car. First, he got there in a car. I can't find the video right now. Maybe I can. Air Force One trip. Biden Air Force. First, oh, it's his first Air Force One trip.
Thank you, by the way, to everyone who's followed, if any of them aren't bots.
Probably real.
I mean, you're pretty
You got some good arguments. I'll give you that, Hannah. Maybe I'm upping your street cred or something.
Yeah. I do have higher viewers than normal, so thank you, Peter. Thank you for sharing.
You got to have me back on.
Maybe. You'd probably have to rescind your threat of a lawsuit, because that's not cool, but...
You know I'm kidding, Hannah. You know I'm kidding.
I would hope so.
But I would appreciate if you took down that video. I don't have the money to sue you, but
Great.
And I know it'd be a waste of time and money. But I was pretty upset about getting death threats. People saying
I was upset about
Hannah said
your
this.
viewers giving me death threats too. So how about this? Let's
How about this?
do something good, and I'll say anyone who's watching this, don't ever send death threats to anyone, least of all Peter, okay?
Exactly.
I don't
Hannah
agree
too.
with Peter, but he doesn't deserve to get death threats. No one does. Okay? Is that fair?
And Peter doesn't want to kill anyone. You can add that in there.
And Peter doesn't want to kill anyone. He just wants to install Trump as God Emperor.
Thank you, Hannah. Thank you. I agree. And I don't think you're a bad person at all. Anyone who's sent you death threats should, I don't know, deal with their emotional instability and stop bullying people. I don't think you're a bad person, Hannah. I think you're actually pretty funny, and it's been pretty fun.
Yeah.
Next time I find that video, I'll send it to you. It's gone all of a sudden.
Okay, that's fine. We can deal with that another time. What else? What else? Oh, JFK Jr. Do you think that JFK Jr. is secretly alive? Because that's a pretty big QAnon belief. Among some.
You know what? I'm on the fence about that. I do consider it a possibility.
Why?
Well, people have faked their deaths before,
Like
and
who?
I can't name anyone at the top of my head, but it makes sense.
But you know
It
that
makes
there
sense.
have been people who have.
Come on, billions of people on the planet Earth. You think no one's ever faked their death before? Statistically, it's gonna happen. Especially
I don't think famous politicians who are the family members of one of the most famous presidents in American history have now.
like I said, I'm not like totally sold on that theory. I have heard that a lot. I haven't seen any big evidence to back it up, but at this point, I'm open to hearing the evidence of it. But I'm not like, that's true or anything like that.
Fair enough. Oh, this is a good one. Time travel / looking glass technology.
Yes. Oh, please ask me that. Please ask me
So,
that.
for those who don't know, there are QAnon people who believe that Trump has access to either time travel technology, or the one I see more often is looking glass technology, which they purport to be able to, basically, using probability, see into the future. This was, according to them, partially developed by Nikola Tesla, as well as Trump's uncle, I think, is what I've read, at least from the QAnon people. I don't think any of this is true, obviously, but... So what are
I
your
didn't hear the
thoughts?
whole uncle thing. I thought it was aliens that gave into it, but who knows? But the whole Project Looking Glass thing is basically the reason that Trump will win and become president is because he has this technology that allows him to, is basically some type of quantum computer that with some type of time travel like technology that allows him to predict all moves in advance to perfectly plan out a basically a takedown of the deep state. Because
Can I ask you, do you know what a quantum computer is?
I don't know a lot about it, but I do know they're very difficult to build.
But can you tell me like literally anything about what a quantum computer is or what they're used for?
It's related to quantum physics, and basically it can calculate instead of this possibility or that possibility, but all possibilities simultaneously. So it's perfect for predicting strategy because you can predict all the different possibilities of and counter moves. So you can put out a very good strategy to defeat the deep state, for example.
Not really. Quantum computers are computers. See, typically computers, traditional computers work in on and off, like ones and zeros, binary, right? Quantum computers can work in ones, zeros, and another thing that I think is sort of like neither or other things, and that's why they can be used for very specific tasks, but there's no evidence that they can be used for predicting the future like the way you are describing.
Well, the public quantum computers, the one that they're developing, no one's admitted like, oh, I have a quantum computer that can do that. But Project Looking Glass, which is a secret technology that Trump has, they can use this. I'm not sure if it was aliens that gave them to him or John G. Trump, because what I heard is that John G. Trump took all of Tesla's files or documents before they got like stolen or destroyed. So he does have a lot of technology and stuff like that. So in theory, they could have created Project Looking Glass. I think it was aliens that gave them the technology. I don't know. But I do believe they have it. They have it, and they're using it to predict moves.
So why did Trump lose the election then? Seems like he should have been able to foresee that.
Great question, Hannah. I'm glad you asked. There was a lot of people who committed treason and did horrible, heinous acts. Allegedly, okay. And when Trump was going to become president, when he won, Obama pardoned hundreds, if not thousands, of these people. And since Trump wants to do everything legally, he has to not only become president again, but he also has to, all these people that were pardoned by Obama, he has to set them up to commit crimes again, especially treasonous crimes or any type of crime that won't harm someone but would get the death penalty, which usually is treasonous acts like overthrowing an election or something like that. So
you want Trump to kill all his political enemies. Jailing them isn't enough. You want them to be killed.
It's not as simple as in the movies where, Trump swoops in and kills all the bad guys. He wants to do everything legally, which means if they've been pardoned, he has to set up an opportunity for them to commit treason again and then put them through trial. And then if the judge says that they get the death penalty, they get the death penalty.
Do you know what entrapment is?
Yes.
Do you not think that would fall under entrapment?
He's doing it in some form of legal way.
Do you think it's moral? Legality aside.
I think that it's legal and moral. And for example, the whole reason that Pence, who is a deep state, was even put in as vice president is because he knew that Pence would betray him and make Biden president, and basically, which is illegal and treason.
It's not,
and
though.
That was
he just approved the electoral count because Biden won.
The theory goes, what I believe, is that approving of an election that was obviously fraudulent is treason.
It wasn't.
So Biden would get, in theory, if this is true, and I believe it is, he would get the death penalty.
So you think it's cool for Donald Trump to want to kill all his political enemies? Is there anyone else in history who has, after taking power, killed all their political enemies who turned out to be a really good guy?
I don't think it's cool for anyone to kill all their political enemies, but if there are people who are mass murderers or they committed treason and legally they deserve the death penalty, they should go through trial. And I think all these people will go through trial. Trump's not going to be like, oh, Biden's evil, Obama's evil, shoot him down. It's like, put these people through trial and, you know, military tribunals.
So you think murdering your political enemies is fine as long as you're polite about it?
Legally executing
That's not what I
what's
asked.
going to happen.
I'm not asking about legality. I'm talking
Murdering,
about
I
morally.
am against murdering. 100% against murdering.
Jesus is too, most of the time.
Yeah, honestly, I am personally against executions. I don't think there should be any executions, even for the most horrible people. I think life in prison is better. But from what I heard, there's two types of evil people. There's the people who, all evil people are infected and with demons one way or another. And
Why do you think that?
really evil people, there's no way to exorcise and get the demons out of them. The only way to remove the demons is through execution. And there's other
Why do you
people
believe
who
in
can.
demons?
There is a lot of evidence to back up the whole that demons exist. I mean,
Such
you don't
as?
think that do you believe in evil spirits or anything like that?
No, I don't believe in the supernatural.
Do you believe in Satan?
No.
Well, you know what they say, that Satan's best trick is making you believe he doesn't exist.
Yeah, Christians came up with that because they believe in Satan.
I do think that if you watch a lot of exorcism stuff, I saw you made a video about them. You have people who are possessed who speak multiple different languages, people levitating, being thrown against the wall.
Yeah, no,
That
that's all a
can't
sham.
happen.
That's a fraud.
Well, that's your opinion, but the fact is, this would only be possible unless there's some type of demon stuff going on here.
You don't think people
What if
can
you-
speak in tongues?
If you
Evangelicals
if
speak in tongues all the time.
if you don't believe in aliens or being possessed or something like that,
I don't believe in possession. I don't believe in demons. I don't believe in Satan. I think there's probably other life in the universe, but I don't think it's visited us.
I see. There's a movie they made based on a real story, and they have footage in there of not only a spacecraft, but people levitating, speaking different languages. Let me pull it up. The movie is called The Fourth Kind.
Oh no,
This-
Peter! Oh,
Look it up.
no.
They use, what's scary about this movie is they actually use real footage of people levitating. They even have a police cam, unadulterated, no CGI police cam of a spaceship. People are called in because they say, "Oh, my daughter's been abducted." A police car goes in. This is in the movie. You can laugh all you want, but watch the
I'm
movie.
pretty sure The Fourth Kind is a movie that is like a mockumentary style. Like, it's supposed to be real footage, but it's not. Like, it says, like, this is real footage, but it's not. It's a movie. Like, you know how Blair Witch Project says this is real footage from... But Blair Witch Project is not real. This is the same thing.
I think it's a mockumentary.
They came out and said it was fake, says chat.
Oh,
The
really?
making of is on YouTube. It's just a movie.
Dang it, they fooled me.
Yeah. Okay. Now let's take a step back. Do you think that the
Okay.
fact that you have been fooled by a low budget horror movie might give you pause to think maybe your decision making on what is or is not real might be faulty in some way, and you in fact mistake things that are fake for real sometimes?
That's a good question. I have been wrong before. I can jump to conclusions, but I think that the main theories that I've been putting out there, which is Trump commands the military, Trump will be back, that is all based on reality. And two examples that I did demonstrated was, you watch Obama. I mean, you're not going to believe this, but Obama's, when he controlled the military, he was doing a lot of evil things. But if you look at the military,
It's the
under
American
Biden,
military. I would believe that.
Do you believe that China has any control over Biden because of the $1 billion that Hunter Biden got? Or you believe that's all fake news?
I would imagine that, like any geopolitics, I think Biden is probably intertwined with China about as much as any other American president.
I see. $1 billion, but you can't name any other time. The point I'm making is this: China controls Biden, And China's most sensitive issue with the United States is controlling Taiwan. At least that's what they've said. And when they were acting like they were going to take control of Taiwan, a Navy ship went through the Taiwan Strait, which separates Taiwan and China, and basically defending Taiwan. And the only other president the president who's defended Taiwan the most has been Trump. So that, along with this bombing in Syria, which didn't kill any civilians, just killed terrorists, to me is evidence that the military is doing good things, protecting people.
Your evidence that Biden is working for China is that under Biden, the military protected Taiwan.
No. I'm not explaining myself. If Biden controlled the military, there would be going to war. There'd be a lot of bad stuff, as we saw under Bush and Obama. Or
you're just wrong about what you think Biden would do.
But what we've seen in the military
razor. What's more likely, Trump is secretly in control of the military, or Biden is just doing things you didn't think he would do?
According to Occam's razor, Biden is doing things, that I didn't think he would do. But it's not that simple nowadays because there's a lot of disinformation and stuff going on. The point I'm making is the things that the military has been doing under the Biden administration are good things.
So you agree with Biden? You like Biden then?
I like the military actions that have been under Trump Biden's been inaugurated.
Just to be clear, if Biden goes through all his terms and Trump never comes back and you realize that it's been Biden the whole time, you will change your mind and say, actually, I agreed with Biden's military strategies.
Yes. If there's evidence that he was commanding military, I'll be like, all right, I had it wrong. At least he's doing good stuff in the military. Because the stuff that I've seen with him killing terrorists in Syria, the bombing in Syria, and also defending Taiwan, those are good actions and complete in alignment with Trump's military agenda, not in alignment with Biden's military agenda, because Biden would defend China and help get Taiwan for China. But
not really.
We've been protected. Well, if you believe, the $1 billion that Hunter Biden got from China, that wasn't for free.
Hold on, someone has a source debunking the thing. Fact-checking claims about Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, and China.
Let me guess. PolitiFact?
It is PolitiFact.
Okay, so the leftists, do you believe PolitiFact? So, do you know who PolitiFact is? They have 100% lying, fake news, leftist bias, right?
That's a lot of buzzwords.
They've never sided with Republicans, coincidentally, because they're
Republicans should probably stop lying then. I would doubt that's true. I would imagine they also fact-check Biden, because Biden's been wrong. For instance, I know Biden got fact-checked the other day on his claims about buying guns at
yes.
Oh gosh, what was it? Like
the gun conference.
Yeah. He got fact-checked.
Yeah, that's the first time I was shocked. I was like, wow, PolitiFact is correcting him. I was quite confused by that.
Yeah, Republicans get fact-checked more because they lie more.
I see. Well, or PolitiFact has, they're just part of the whole fake news media trying to control the narrative.
Or Republicans
lie more. We'll find out
more.
soon, right? So, I have a question for you.
Sure.
If Trump comes in and exposes a bunch of Democrats and even Republicans as being compromised,
Matt Gaetz. We got to talk about Matt Gaetz, by the way.
Yeah, I can talk about that one for sure. If it turns out that I'm right about everything by the end of this year, and Trump becomes president, but he's saving us the world from an evil satanic cabal, will you like Trump? If he's saving the world, if he's saving us from deep state cabal,
came out
or you
with definitive proof that all that was true, not only would I like Trump, I will give you $5,000.
Great. I got to record. I'm glad I'm recording this video so I can get your $5,000. So you're all for defeating the bad guys and all that, and if it's happening, you're gonna love Trump.
Sure.
You even make a video saying Peter was right about a lot of the stuff.
Sure.
Great deal. Matt Gaetz, he came out and said that the U.S. government, I think it was the Department of Justice or something like that.
Just to be clear, will you give, if it turns out by the end of the year Trump isn't in, will you give me money? Just to be...
I'll give you what I can afford, and I will make a video promoting you for sure and be like, you know what, Hannah was right about a lot of things. Subscribe to her channel, and I was a dummy. I'll give you that much.
Great. I'll keep you to that.
Matt Gaetz came out and called out the corruption in the U.S. government, called them as one of the biggest sex trafficking organizations in the world.
Which is ironic considering he's a sex trafficker, huh?
Well, right after that is when he got accused of the whole sex trafficking.
No, that's actually when it came out. The investigation of Matt Gaetz started under Trump's DOJ. Yeah.
Well, I've heard that he came out and exposed them for sex trafficking, and then they ended up attacking him, accusing him of the same thing.
Nope. The investigation started under the Trump administration.
Yeah, we'll find out. Do you have a link to that, or
I
it's
can find
not?
one.
It's somewhere more reliable, maybe like I don't
chat.
know, Daily
Actually, do
Wire.
you want to find one for me so we can continue talking? Chat's been good about finding me links. I'd appreciate it.
Anyway, it's possible Matt Gaetz is involved in some criminal stuff. I'm not completely sold that he's a good guy. It's possible.
He was also the only congressperson to vote against a bill that would help stop sex traffickers.
News to me.
Yeah.
Maybe you're right on this one, Hannah.
You're hanging out in circles that don't exactly like facts, so.
Who knows? I do get some stuff wrong, but I'm still very confident that the main stuff will end up being correct.
Okay.
The details, it's hard because there's a lot of disinformation out there, a lot of people pushing lies. I think we're in a big disinformation war, so it's easy to get certain things wrong, but Trump will be back. He's basically been promising that to all his followers, that he said, I'll be back in some form.
Sure, he thinks but he's talking about 2024.
He says our greatest days are just ahead. Just ahead doesn't sound like 2024
It's
to
a
me.
vague platitude. Here's a link. I'll put it in. I'll email it to you, I guess. This is a link to an article talking about how the investigation started under the Trump administration in the last few months of it.
All right. Like I said, I could be wrong about the Matt Gaetz things, but what I did hear is he attacked them and he attacked them first. I could be wrong.
Here's another source from BBC I'll send you.
I do get certain things wrong, but I am very confident Trump's going to come back. He's been...
What have you gotten right? You say that I've gotten some things wrong, but that sort of implies that you've gotten things right. What things have you gotten right?
I believe I was one of the people early on that said that no matter what happens, the military will back Trump and go in accordance with Trump's agenda. And since then, the military has been doing good things, which either means Biden is a good guy or that Trump is secretly commanding the military. For me, that's evidence that I was right, that Trump still commands the military and they're backing him.
But he doesn't. You don't actually have evidence Trump controls the military. You just like what the military's doing, and therefore you're ascribing it to Trump. You're working backwards. You see, you're not looking at evidence and then coming to a conclusion. Your conclusion is Trump must be in control of the military, and then you're working backwards.
Except that if you look at what happened under Obama and other deep state, actors, there was just wars and wars and killing civilians.
Which happened under Trump, too. It increased under Trump.
That's not true at all. If you look at how many people died...
I cited sources earlier in the thing. You just called them fake news.
Look, the truth will eventually come out. If these are all fake news articles, we'll find out. If they're not, we'll find out. But from what I heard, for example, ISIS grew under Obama and was destroyed under Trump. How do you explain that?
Oh boy, that's quite a claim. We had a prolonged military intervention with ISIS. It took a while.
So why did it grow under Obama?
Probably because geopolitically it was advantageous for them to grow at the time. Or not advantageous, it was easier for them to grow at the time. I don't do a lot of foreign policy stuff, so I can't talk about the actual material reasons that happened, but...
It was
ISIS isn't entirely gone, but as far as I understand, chat, it is lower than it has been.
Gone. Yeah,
I don't know if I'd say 99%, but sure.
Yeah, it grew under Obama and it disappeared under Trump. Coincidentally.
Again, do you have a source for that?
The military, well, when Obama controlled the military, it grew, and when Trump controlled the military, it disappeared.
Your claim. I'm asking for a source for that claim.
Trump said that.
Trump said
ISIS
is your source.
Destroyed. I trust Trump. If he says it was destroyed,
I don't. That's not a source. You can't just say I trust this person. Therefore.
Okay. Well, that's the thing between you and me. You trust people who I think are lying. I trust people who you think are lying. So our sources, there's no point even bringing it up.
No, there's a point. Let me see what else. What do you think the world will look like if Trump doesn't come back? A year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now?
Good question. That's a good question. I do believe that Q has told a lot of people that everything's going to be okay, trust the plan, Trump's going to save us, everything's going to be all right, the deep state will get taken down, that most of the corrupt people in the government will be arrested and go to military tribunals. That's been promised to, whether you believe it or not, over 100 million Americans at least believe that and think that's going to happen. If it doesn't, I think there could be some type of serious anger among people, especially on the right. I hope that nothing happens and it doesn't get violent, but there are people who are concerned that that there are Republicans who might get very, very angry, especially if this whole gun thing, if there's gun confiscation, Republicans will fight back with their guns. They're not going to let people. How do you think that's going to go? Biden just going to go door to door with police and take guns away? And
I don't think that's going to happen, no. You guys have been fear-mongering about that for decades. Obama was going to take your guns, and he never did, so... Clinton's going to take your guns. Obama's going to take your guns. Biden's going to take your guns. They never have.
They can't. They can't. We're too armed. They don't have enough people. Even if the military comes in, which they wouldn't, because, most of the military actually voted for Trump. Okay. The military is mostly Trump supporters. Well, that backs my theory that Trump controls the military, because
why?
The
military is a chain of command. Biden is the commander-in-chief.
Correct. But there's a caveat. They swore an oath to protect the Constitution.
Yes.
And that is their highest loyalty,
so
not the president. So you think
the Constitution says they should do a military coup if they don't like who the president is?
The military is legally obligated to protect the Constitution and the duly elected president. If
Biden is the duly elected president.
If obviously we disagree on that, but if
I'm right though. There are a lot of things that are opinion. This isn't one of them.
Hold on. Look, don't interrupt me. If 80 or 90% of the military supports Trump, voted for Trump, and think Biden is an evil person who cheated his way into winning, then legally they're going to say, I swore an oath to protect the Constitution. Biden is destroying the Constitution, like the Second Amendment, the First Amendment. So I will back Trump and I will not take orders from
But
Biden.
You're using the word legally. That's not legally. That's just a military coup brought on by a cult of personality.
There is a chain of command, but their highest loyalty is to the oath they swore to protect the Constitution.
And the Constitution says the military listens to the commander-in-chief.
Unless he is controlled by China. There's a caveat.
Where in the Constitution does it say that? And second of all, Biden is not controlled by China.
Okay. Well, we can disagree on that one, but can you imagine? Both of the military believe that Biden is an evil person who cheated with the election. They're not going to side with. They're not going to follow all of Biden's rules and do what
the Joint Chiefs of Staff would disagree with you on that one.
I mean, we'll see. If the military helps put Trump back into place, which I think is the most likely scenario, legally speaking.
Again, you keep using the word legally. I don't think you know what that word means.
Well, what Q said is that it has to all be done legally. So that's what I believe.
Q hasn't even posted in months.
Yeah, but I read all 4,953 posts.
Why do you think Q hasn't posted since, what was it, like December, January?
Q is an operation to both wake up the public and also create an army of digital keyboard warriors like me.
Do you consider yourself a digital warrior?
Oh, yeah. I swore the oath, the military oath, to defend, and I am 100% defending Q all the way. I'm going to do what Q told me to do, for sure.
Do you ever feel like a LARPer?
No. Why? I'm helping save the world with Trump.
Oh, okay. So you really believe the LARP. That's cool. Yeah.
I mean, if you look at all the evidence, all the times he's at 17, all the time he promoted the QAnon theory, it's pretty clear that it's a real thing. It's not a conspiracy theory. How did it become the biggest conspiracy theory in the world? How did it become the second most attacked topic in the world? Why is
It's
everyone
not the second most attacked topic in the world. I think you're highly inflating the amount people give a shit about QAnon.
No, look at how many hundreds of thousands of articles were written to attack Q.
Yeah, because it's an oddity.
No, it's a threat. It's a threat. They wouldn't.
I mean,
we have
any
a bunch
fascist like.
Why would they spend? Why would the mainstream media spend millions of dollars to attack Q?
You think it costs millions of dollars to write articles on a subject?
A lot of articles. Like I said, the two most attacked topics in the last 3 years have been Trump was number one, and number two has been Q. If Q was just a LARPer, why even?
I think you're overinflating the amount people care about Q. No offense.
It's in the hundreds of millions. It's the biggest quote unquote conspiracy theory in the world.
Right now it is. It's very scary.
Let me ask you this: who is Q?
That's a good
Who
question.
Do you think is Q?
I don't think Q has been one person. I think it probably started as someone just screwing with people on 4chan, and then once it moved over to 8kun or 8chan, Ron and Jim Watkins probably have something to do with it.
I see. So do you believe it's some intelligent people or just some, Ron Watkins, just these dummies over here? Do you think it's a smart individual?
I don't know the intelligence level of Ron or Jim Watkins. I think they're using it to their advantage.
How many people do you believe believe in Q? How big is the cult?
Too many? I don't know. Probably millions of people.
Millions. Tens of millions or hundreds of millions?
I'd say tens.
Tens of millions. Well, I believe hundreds of millions. And if true,
Okay.
it is...
There's only like 300 million people in the United States, so...
But Q is a worldwide phenomenon. It's not just Americans that believe it. So if it's in the hundreds of millions, then it has to be, and if it's the biggest quote-unquote conspiracy theory in the world, there's got to be some incredible intelligence behind it to convince people.
Why?
To
People believe dumb stuff all the time. There are tons of flat earthers. Do you think that means flat earth is true?
Flat Earth is totally false.
Okay.
But if
so you agree that things can be popular and also be false?
Flat Earth is barely popular. That's like a tiny % of crazy people.
I could say the same thing about Q, relatively speaking.
If you're a LARPer, how would they attract hundreds of millions of people to believe him? In your case, even tens of millions. That's pretty impressive for a LARPer.
Yeah, that's how a lot of conspiracy theories start. A lot of people believe in the fake moon landing, too. That doesn't make it true. A lot of people believe in JFK conspiracy theories. That doesn't make it true.
They're either the most successful LARPer in the world or a military intelligence
It's the first one.
I mean, I guess we'll find out if...
Again, we got off topic. Where do you think Q has gone? Q hasn't posted in months. He's left you all hanging.
Okay,
How do you feel about that?
Q was an operation, and the operation is over. There's no
so
point.
He's done? He's done talking to you now?
I don't think Q will ever post again because there was an agenda, there was an operation, there was a goal, and it was successful. People were woken up. Trump won in a landslide.
He didn't, though. He demonstrably did not.
I'm just telling you what the operation was for. To help Trump win in a landslide.
Fail.
To wake people up. And to create a bunch of digital warriors. And that's been a success. There's no point for any more Q posts. From my understanding, there won't be any more Q posts.
You ever feel bad that he abandoned you guys? To be on your own now and deal with people like me?
It's an operation. He's not like someone who's like giving us hope, and when he's gone, we're like, oh no, he's abandoned us. It's more like...
I've seen a lot of Q people say basically that. They're mad that Q stopped posting.
There are a lot of people who believe in Q who have lost hope, and then now they believe it's a LARPer, or they lost trust in Trump because they see Biden as president, and they're like, was this part of the plan? They don't understand that it was part of the plan. Like I said, it's part of the plan because Trump has multiple goals: follow the law, defeat the deep state, set up traps for people to commit treason again, people that have been pardoned. It's a very complex military operation. I know I'm not going to convince you. I'm just explaining what I believe.
I understand. Let me see. I know obviously your wife and your dad and probably your mom know about your YouTube. Does your extended family know you're into this stuff, and how do they feel about it?
They do know. There's different opinions on it. But I think if you make a political channel, some people are just going to get bothered. There's always going to be some people who are going to get offended. Politics is a very emotional topic. So you're gonna hurt someone's feelings. I would say that I'm getting more of a neutral response, not super angry, not super happy, just like, he's got a YouTube channel. He's saying what he believes. All right.
Okay.
What did you expect him to say? Like, Peter, you're crazy. A lot of my family is actually on the left. They're in the same
I
page
know.
as you.
I know.
You know?
I know.
How do you know?
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about it. Have you been talking to my family?
What would convince you that Q isn't real?
Biden being president for 4 years and the country being destroyed.
The country being destroyed? What if Biden's president for 4 years and the country isn't destroyed?
That might make me lose faith in Q for sure.
Okay. 4
what
years.
would make
It
you-
has to go the whole 4 years?
If I mean, I will lose some faith after by 2022 if I don't see by the end of this year if I don't see any major.
Because you said
action.
August is your most recent. Because of what Lindell said, what Mike Pillow said.
Yeah. I do think that that could happen, but it could be misdirection. Maybe I think in the end, it's not going to be the courts. It's going to be some type of legal military action by Trump and military backing him.
Again, you keep using that word legal, not legal.
Well, it's important because he's not going to be a dictator who's breaking laws. He didn't break any laws, and that's his reputation. You look at Obama and all these other people; they broke so many laws. Just so Biden, the quid pro quo for $1 billion to Hunter Biden, that's extremely illegal.
Let me see what other questions I have, and then I'll let you.
Did Donald Trump Jr. get $1 billion from China or Iran or anyone? Or
his children have enriched themselves very much through the presidency. Yes.
Oh yeah, how much money did they get?
Let's look, shall we? How much money did Trump's kids make from the presidency?
Actually, they lost money. They lost a lot of money because of all the tax and everything. I think their fortune went down a little bit because they became political, and then so some people don't want to support them anymore.
Let me see. Sorry, I'm trying to skim this article.
No worries.
Oh, how do you feel about the Trump charity thing where they were taking money from the charity for personal use and they're going to shut down the charity because of it?
I didn't hear anything about that.
Of course you didn't.
What do you think about the Clinton Foundation? And do you think they're doing everything legally there?
Oh, I
Honestly,
have no idea. I don't like the Clintons.
charities-
Do you think I like the Clintons?
Were you a Bernie person?
I voted for Bernie in the primaries, sure. I don't think
I
any
did.
politician is perfect, though. I don't worship politicians like you do.
Did you vote in the 2006 this election or no?
I voted in every election that I had the ability to. Let me see.
You voted for Biden.
I did. Let me see. Sister Ivanka, brother-in-law Jared Kushner, both of whom hold senior positions in the administration, whose companies and investment portfolios netted anywhere from $29 million to $135 million last year, per their financial disclosure forms. Here are the highlights. They did a bunch of real estate sales, $3.2 million in land in the Dominican Republic. When news of Jared and Ivanka's White House employment broke, observers noted the hirings appeared to be clear violations of federal anti-nepotism laws. Kushner, the heir to a mid-Atlantic real estate empire, had no experience that would qualify him for the many tasks to which his father-in-law would assign him: solving the opioid crisis, handling the Middle East peace negotiations, modernizing the federal government, and reforming America's criminal justice system. On Inauguration Day, however, the Department of Justice released an opinion concluding that the statute did not apply to White House staff, including allowing Kushner's employment to go forward. So yeah, he employed his kids and then allowed them a bunch of free advertising for their products and stuff. Anyway, what was your question? Sorry.
Do you believe in the Hunter Biden $1 billion? Do you think Hunter Biden get any money from Ukraine or China?
Oh, I have no idea about that stuff.
I see. So you kind of just turned an eye to it, even though there's a ton of evidence that his son got money from several countries. $1 billion.
Oh, I have no
It's
idea.
a lot of money.
I know someone sent me an article earlier that contradicted that, but I don't know.
PolitiFact, I'm sure. Something on the left.
Here's a fact check. I don't know. Trump's claims about Hunter Biden in China. Trump has made numerous comments calling for investigations of Hunter Biden's business dealings in Ukraine and China, which the president suggests involve Joe Biden. We have written about how the president has twisted the facts on Biden and Ukraine, and here we will address the claims related to China. Trump has repeatedly claimed that Hunter Biden made millions of dollars from China very rapidly. While his father was vice president, Trump and his personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, have both claimed that Hunter Biden got $1.5 billion from China for a private equity fund. When Biden's son walks out of... Hold on. When Biden's son walks out of China with a $1.5 billion fund and the biggest fund in the world can't get money out of China, he's there for one quick meeting and he flies in Air Force Two. I think that's a horrible thing. Trump said
Thank you, Hanna. That was great.
Yeah.
That was great. You just proved my point there.
Trump said during a joint press conference with Ukrainian President, I'm not going to even try and pronounce that name. During an October 3rd press conference, Trump called on China to start an investigation into the Bidens. Trump and China probably has enjoyed a, quote, sweetheart deal with the U.S. on trade, quote, because they deal with people like Biden where they give their son $1.5 billion. China has since rejected Trump's call to investigate the Bidens. On ABC's This Week on September 29th, Giuliani rattled off various claims, including saying that Hunter Biden got, again, $1.5 billion from China. Hunter Biden was involved in the cross-border equity consortium in question, but the $1.5 billion was what the fund hoped to raise in 2014 for investments. It is not the value of the management company in which Hunter Biden now holds a minority share. It's unclear if that $1.5 billion goal was reached in its first year, as the investment fund had forecast, but the company website says it now manages assets worth $2.1 billion in U.S. dollars. Giuliani mentions of the three parameters in Rosemont Seneca is a good place to start. The same year that Barack Obama and Joe Biden took over the White House in 2009, a general partnership formed that brought together Hunter Biden, son of then Vice President Joe Biden, Christopher Heinz, stepson of then Senator John Kerry, and Devin Archer, a classmate of Heinz's from Yale. But all three did not participate in all of the deals undertaken under Rosemont Seneca's umbrella, with separate corporations formed for some deals. Such was the case with Biden and Archer's foray into China. Heinz's attorney told The Hill that Heinz had no operating goal in Rosemont Seneca and had nothing to do with any of the deals in question in China. Hunter Biden's role is also not as straightforward as the president and Giuliani say, according to Hunter Biden's attorney, but it's true that Hunter Biden and Archer made business overtures to high-ranking Chinese fund leaders as early as 2010. As conservative author Peter Schweitzer details in his book, Biden and Archer, along with James Bulger of the consultancy firm Thornton Group, took several meetings in 2010 with high-profile business and government interests in China. As Giuliani said, James Bulger is the nephew of mobster Whitey Bulger, but he's also the son of former Massachusetts State Senator Billy Bulger. Schweitzer came across an account of the meetings posted by Thornton Group in Chinese, in which Chinese executives expressed their warm welcome to the Thornton Group with its U.S. partners Rosemont.
All right, Hanna, you don't have to read the whole article.
I'm just trying to get the facts.
Yeah, I think even the audiences get a little bored by it. The point is, you're reading some articles you trust, articles I don't trust. If it turns
basically,
out
it seems like Hunter Biden owns a minority stake in an equity fund that went to China to court business owners and people with money in order to get money for the fund.
Okay, so you're saying there's no quid pro quo with Biden and his family?
I don't think there is, but I'd have no idea. Do you think there's no quid pro quo that ever happened between Trump and any of international businesses? Because Trump also does business in other countries. You know that, right? And so does his family.
Yeah, I'm fully aware of that. But He doesn't do any quid pro quos.
Well, how do you know that?
Well, I guess the truth eventually comes out. If
that's
Trump
your answer to a lot of things when you don't have the answer.
Well, that's the thing, is because right now we're in a disinformation war, and the narrative has been painted a certain way, but it might come out. You might be surprised that Trump comes out and he wakes you and a lot of people on the left up to the reality of the situation. I know it sounds like I'm living in an alternative fake reality right now, but by the end of this year, pretty soon, when Trump wakes people up. So then my question is, will you switch to the right and start defending people on the right once, if all this information comes out and I am right that Trump was saving the world and the Bidens were evil Satanists, et cetera, et cetera?
I think that was interesting, considering I don't believe Satan exists, so I'd wonder why people were Satanists, considering, and I'm using your definition of Satanists, not the actual definition. Most Satanists don't actually believe in Satan. It's like a title that they use for a variety of other beliefs. But
will you join us on the right?
I still
If
don't
everything
agree
else-
with the right economically or socially, so it wouldn't really make a difference there. If anyone has done any sort of criminality, I want them to go to jail. But
Do
it
you
wouldn't
think
change
Trump
my
is-
positions on economic or social issues.
Do you think if you? I'm guessing you believe Trump did a lot of horrible crimes, quid pro quos, whatever. Is he
I'm
going to
sure he
get
did.
punished? Is there a reason that the military is not coming after him? He hasn't been indicted.
It's not
Why
the
do you think?
military's job.
Okay, well, why do you think no one has gone after Trump if he's like a horrible person that
They
committed a
have.
bunch
He
of crimes?
got impeached twice, and then the Senate acquitted him
No, I'm
because
talking
they're
about-
partisan hacks.
Looks like I have to go in a couple minutes.
Okay,
But just one last question. Why aren't they going after Trump now that he doesn't have any presidential protection?
they are. The New York State Department of Justice is working on financial crimes for him.
I see. That's all.
I don't know. I don't follow it that closely. I'm happy to
I
never
see.
listen about Trump ever again. I want him to go away. I think he's a shitty person.
Do you think he's going to go to jail? Do you think he's going to
Oh,
go
probably
to jail?
not. We live in America. Rich people don't go to jail.
I see. All right, we'll end it on that note. I got to go. I got
All
a
right,
wife who wants
Peter.
me
Well,
leaving.
thank you for...
But for sure. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say thanks for coming on. I do not endorse anything you've said here. I think you're very, very wrong. And I look forward to seeing how you move forward in August and stuff when nothing happens. So...
For sure. And I do wish you well. If any of my supporters are doing death threats, I think that's ridiculous.
Same.
And
No one
I think-
harass Peter, please.
I think Hannah is not a bad person, does not deserve any death threats or any hatred. Are you a comedian or a political commentator?
I don't know. Probably both.
Okay. Well, anyway, I wish you well, Hannah. Thanks for having me on your show.
Sure. See you later.
All right. See you later.
Bye. All right, let me get to a different screen. Oh boy. Give me a sec so I can put my camera back up.
Could you mute your mic for a second? Let's just
All right, hello everyone. Welcome. So, what did you guys think? How was that? Oh boy. Was it worth the content? Yes. Yes, it was. Thank you for asking. Prepare for the fundraiser if he tries to sue me, guys. Jesus Christ.
It's unfortunate because the church that he's a part of probably has really good lawyers.
Maybe. According to him, they don't really like his QAnon stuff, so I don't know if they'd financially throw money behind that, but who knows? I've dealt with lawsuits before, and that ended up working out, so not super worried about it.
So what could he sue you for? Like defamation?
He would probably try and sue me for defamation, but it wouldn't stick for a variety of reasons.
Why?
Hold on. Holy crap. Vast Lunacy, thank you for gifting 50 subs to the community.
Holy shit!
Jesus Christ, thank you.
Oh my god.
Gosh, damn. So here's the thing. He would probably try and sue me for defamation of some sort, which wouldn't stick for a variety of reasons. First of all, he's a limited purpose public figure, so he has to prove actual malice in that case, which is an incredibly high bar, which he wouldn't do. Secondly, he doesn't have a lot of money. Lawsuits are incredibly expensive. I've been through lawsuits before, and even a short one. Wow, we're at 830% of the hype train. That's crazy.
Holy shit.
Um,
Can we get to 1,000%?
I don't think we'll get to 1,000%.
1,000%, chat. 1,000%.
I've been part of a lawsuit before that only lasted like 5 or 6 months, and it cost like $80,000. So, yeah, let's not go down that road, Peter. Okay? I don't think either of us want to do that.
Oh, I think he does. I think he was fishing to get info
Oh, definitely. Definitely. But that's okay. He would also have to prove some sort of damages, which he does not have. So.
Do you have to prove damages for
Yes.
defamation?
Yes. You do. You have to prove that it has somehow impacted you negatively, either financially or through emotional distress, which he would not be able to prove.
I mean, his YouTube channel got...
That's not my fault. YouTube deleted it. YouTube's policy is to delete election conspiracy stuff.
Okay.
So there you go.
I'm sorry,
Oh, I understand. I've been through this before, too. Plenty of people have threatened to sue me in the past. Oh my god. We're at 1,040% of the level 5 hype train. This is the most we've ever done. This is bananas.
Chat. I love you all. I wish I could give you all a hug. Consensually, of course.
Why is he accusing people of sending death threats? Oh, I don't know. There could be people who aren't from our community who go there. We're definitely not the only people who find Peter funny, so. But again, don't ever go and harass Peter. Peter's... How do I put this? I don't think Peter's intentionally malicious in any way, shape, or form. And maybe Peter's still listening. I don't know. Maybe he went to go hang out with his wife. Either way. I don't think Peter's intentionally malicious. I just think he's been misled. And I think he's very gullible. I mean, look at... He saw a movie and thought the movie was real. Like, that's the level he's operating at. So, I don't know. Maybe we'll talk to him again sometime. We'll have to see.
I am glad to hear that he didn't have, like, an arranged marriage. He found someone...
I'm very happy about that.
...that loves him and he loves, so...
For sure.
I want everyone to have love. Like even if someone was a bad person.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know how happy that Hanna makes me and how much I love her, and I just want everyone to feel that way.
Yeah, I feel for his family too. It's interesting to me that he's part of that sanctuary church or whatever, which is the church that does like the guns and stuff and the crowns, which are, did you hear how much those crowns are?
No.
$300.
Oh.
Yeah,
the one specifically with the bullets?
The church sells them. Which feels a little to me, but you know.
Do you have to buy one from the church, or can you?
No, you can make. He said you can make your own.
Ooh.
Yeah. Which is why I think some people have pretty cool custom ones.
No, Hanna is my love. I want everyone to have a Hanna type person that they love and loves them. Someone that will let you do their hair.
Peter.
No, Altered Rin, you do not.
What did Altered Rin say?
That she gets to marry you.
Oh. Yeah, Peter's moving his stuff from YouTube to Mike Lindell, the Pillow Guys. We didn't even get into Mike Lindell, which is a shame.
You look so pretty.
Oh, thank you. They wear bullet crowns at church. Oh, I'll show you. Hold on. Sanctuary Church. Yeah, it's these people. This is apparently the church he's affiliated with.
Apparently his dad and mom, they were like from someone that knows.
Unless on Aliens you were able to disprove his proofs so quickly, you could have covered a lot more nutty theories. I understand that. Strategically, I felt it was more advantageous to... How do I put this? Kind of show... How do I explain this? I thought it was more advantageous to show... Why can't I get this to work? Hold on. There we go. I thought it was more advantageous to show the kind of person we're dealing with and the other things he believes as sort of a baseline to understand where his reasoning is at. Poet Fox, thanks for gifting 10 subs to the community. Do you think that would be annoying? Because I could probably get Nathan Thompson on, who's a flat earther. I'm sure I could find some other people. Like, how did you think I'm not trying to, I'm not fishing for compliments here. I want a legitimate, like, critique of how that went. What did you guys think? How did it go? What could I have done better?
No, we will absolutely not have calls for an uprising on.
No, Call's a piece of crap, so.
0%.
He would also
chance of that
definitely
ever
not.
happen. Oh, I love how he tried to say your dead name.
Yeah.
Fucking piece of shit.
Sorry, I'm trying to read the chat. It's going very fast.
And it's on slow mode.
Yeah. We got a lot more people watching than usual. Thank you to any new viewers, by the way. Give me a follow if you like what you saw. I cover a lot of stuff. I do Tinfoil Tuesdays every week where I cover conspiracy theories like Peter. That's how we found Peter, is I cover his stuff. And a bunch of other conspiracy theorists. I cover flat earthers, etc. I also do Chud Watch, where I look at like white right-wing grifters like Sargon or Tim Pool and kind of make fun of them and talk about their stuff similarly. Sovereign Citizen Watch, where I watch sovereign citizens, which is a whole thing to get into if you don't know what a sovereign citizen is, but they're kind of another kind of conspiracy theorist. You want Hans, but I know he wouldn't show. I could try and get Hans at some point. I might be able to.
Lupine, come here, baby.
Yeah, Peter's definitely one of the kinder conspiracy theorists. The bar is relatively low, though. Oh, we do Tanky Watch, too. I look at, like, weird Nazbuls and Tankies and stuff and make fun of them. Q is moving into the sovereign citizen world. They're kind of melding. I've noticed that. Tate, I would never want to talk to Tate.
God, no. He would probably sit with a masseuse behind him the whole time.
Yeah.
Like, bro, look how much money I have, bro.
Could I get the guy who thinks I'm a lizard person? I don't know, maybe.
Hello.
When's the next Tanky Watch? I don't know, maybe later this week.
Hello. Hello. Yeah, you're such a good girl, baby. You're such a good girl.
What about Marcel? I would be afraid to have Marcel on. I think he would drop some racial slurs.
Yeah. Baby, I think you should get up on the desk. I think you should get up on the desk.
What kind of music do I like? 80s stuff, 90s stuff, a lot of one-hit wonders, postmodern jukebox, the Mountain Goats, show tunes.
Oh, baby. Baby.
Sorry, I gotta take my hormones and stuff.
She's down on the ground with me, getting the carpet all hairy again after I just removed all of it.
Yeah, she's like, it took me months to get all that hair on there. Why did you take it off? Am I into moody 80s music? Like what? Marcel might hold me in contempt of court because he's a judge. Have you considered, though, that I have a gavel and Marcel doesn't? So, my authority supersedes his. Article about sovereign citizens merging with the Q world. How the far-right group Oath Enforcers plan to harass political enemies. Oof. Yeah. I need a judge robe. I do. I need to get a tinfoil judge robe.
Oh my god, if somebody makes you a tinfoil judge robe, it would lose
Titty
my mind.
Skittles. Have I recovered Russell J. Gould in Quantum Grammar? No. Do you have a link? I can just search it on YouTube, probably. Quantum Grammar. Is this a conspiracy person? Or is this a sovereign citizen person, or a bit of both? Russell J. Gould claims to be the president.
Many of you have heard me talk about my filing from September 17th, 2020, and securing the borders and the concepts of securing the borders.
Is this guy Russell J. Gould? Is this his name? Hold on, let me click on this. Venue of facts, quantum grammar.
How to write your name in quantum grammar. If your surname is Smith and your first name is Jane and your middle name is Anne, it will be written full colon, capital J, A-N-E hyphen, capital A, small n, N-E, full colon, space, Smith, full stop. It would be spoken full colon Jane hyphen Anne full colon Smith full stop. If you don't have a middle name, it would just be full colon your first name full colon space then your last name.
What the hell is this?
Last.
Okay, I'll save this to my conspiracy theory folder. What's this guy about? He thinks he's president?
I'd like to direct my conversation directly to the Joint Chiefs of the Staff, Secretary of the Navy, Secretary of the Air Force, Secretary of the Army.
Why does he think he's the president? Is there like a reason?
I'm assuming some sort of delusion.
Oh, sure, but like what's his... Even delusions typically have some sort of internal logic, depending on how far gone the person is. Like Peter, for instance, is wrong, but there's...
As many of you know,
I understand what he's saying, even if he's wrong.
October
You know what I
4th,
mean?
2004. But due to the latest scams that are being perpetrated upon the people, such as the fake presidential election of 2020, on November 3rd, 2020, I had to prepare the court for probable or possibility of settlements on this fake election that's coming up. So, as Chief Judge of the U.S. Supreme Court on September 17th, 2020, I filed this contract here.
Wait, he thinks he's the Chief Judge of the Supreme Court and President?
With
You literally can't be both of those things at the same time.
the U.S. Supreme Court on 1 First Street Northeast, Washington, D.C. And it was my contract on terms of what makes the Supreme Court a foreign vessel in dry dock, what makes judges judges, my Supreme Court judge's oath that's on file there, and all the complementary accoutrements that come with running a court. And these documents were received due to the fact that on October 4th, 2004, that the U.S. Supreme Court judges vacated their judgeships in Washington, D.C. at the U.S. Supreme Court.
Yikes. What's Marcel up to? Yeah. Lupine. Lou, come up. Come on. Come say hi to the chat. She is not all about that.
Oh, you need to read your bits messages.
Oh, I have so many, I'll never be able to get through them.
You gotta do it.
It would literally take an hour.
Yep.
I cannot sit here for an hour and read all these. Let me see how far back they go. I can try. This is going to be incredibly... I will lose every person watching this if I do this right now.
Do them in chunks. Just do them in chunks. Start at the beginning.
Okay, I'm skipping all the follows because I got like 500 follows.
Of course.
Thank you everyone who followed though, and if you liked what you saw, give me a follow. RTK142 says, that counts as Baja Blasts. I don't care what anyone says. MMO Addicted, thanks for gifting subs. You know what? I'm just going to do the bits messages. Thank you everyone who gifted subs. There's a lot of them. MW1642. You know what? I'm only going to do the bits messages that actually have messages too.
Yeah.
Mike Mack says, some bad news, gang. It seems that I'm going to die today and become a zombie, all thanks to Bill Gates. See you all in hell, my fellow Satanists. I didn't get a chance to tell Peter I got my vaccination the other day. I wonder how he would have reacted. Yeah, Peter's video on this is probably going to be a nightmare, and it's going to make me want to pull my hair out. Ashy Boo says, my body is ready. Purple Nickel says, good luck, Hannah, you're gonna need it. Bitter Grin says, can't wait to see how this goes. History Chick says, transgender pride. 0M80, nope, that's not a thing. Truffled Tree says, crossover of the century, you can't change my mind. Steve of the Q says, here we go. Here we go. RTK says, this is going to be a nightmare. It's going to be so fascinating. Staying Quiet Now with a $20 donation says, this is for the excessive amount of alcohol you may need to buy to recover from trying to talk to this idiot. I won't be buying alcohol with it, but thank you. Plantless75 says, Peter, you were a sad... Oh, I'm not going to read that one. Come on. I'm not going to say mean things about Peter. He was nice enough to come on. I said what I needed to say by debunking him. I'm not going to insult him. RTK142 says, Q was totally real. Did nobody see that Picard Season 2 trailer? Oh, did you see Q's going to be in Picard Season 2? I'm excited. Von Tuck says, oh, wow. Oh, genital inspection squads is what they want. Yeah, because of the anti-trans bathroom thing. Have they ever been to a public restroom? There aren't security guards. Anybody could walk in anyway. What is he even talking about? Yeah, it's just right-wing fear-mongering. Von Tuck says, was Peter implying that trans people have dead names means they're near the top of the deep state cabal because he thinks that means you're hiding your identity? In fairness, that is true. I am high up in the deep state. Pyromancer says, just want to shout out the mods. Thanks for your work. Yes, thank you, mods. If there was bad shit, I didn't see it.
There wasn't.
So...
There was, like, a little bit. But...
Okay, well, thank you, mods, nonetheless, for being attentive about that. I appreciate it so much. Towing24 says, all the fash BS was worth it for this. Von Tuck says, did the aliens sit him down and give him a techno-babble session? Did he just get high and watch Star Trek? In fairness, that sounds great. Overthought says, this has surpassed any and all expectations I had. 10 out of 10 would recommend this happens again. Ashy Boo says, Hannah, you'll see this later, but please look into Gaia. It's a trip. Von Tuck says, I once mistook the Goodyear blimp for a UFO. We're made out of meat. We're not exactly infallible. Towing24 says, do not take down the video. Towing says, prove it, Peter. Schwip Trap Schwup says, you're doing great, Hannah. Keep it up. Andrew Batella says, I define credibility to mean the amount of stuff you get wrong. I can do that, right? Storm Fox says, ask him the $100 question. What if he's wrong? He asked you it. I don't know what that was about. Ask him what he'll do if Trump isn't president this year. I think we did. Time to give Peter a tiny bit of praise for not peeping the Gleason. And maybe ask him if there's anything that could possibly change his mind about Biden being president. If by this time in 2022 nothing has happened, would he be convinced? I really hope someday we can have Peter on and him be like, you know what, I was wrong. I don't think we will, but it would be nice if someday Peter actually was like, you know what, my bad. Whoops. That'd be excellent, you know?
We enjoy personal growth.
Personal growth is excellent. Sorry, I'm getting through the, 50 gift subs. Storm Fox says, hey, Peter, what if you're wrong? Cool Cat says, follow bots have been on a rampage lately. Von Tuck says, the more Peter talks, the more sure I am I know which anime and sci-fi he's into and sourcing his theories from. Schwip Trap Schwab says, just to be clear, 5K by the end of the year 2021. No goalpost moving. RTK142 says, Daily Wire is reliable. Oh, you sweet summer child. Stone Sales says, what will it take for Peter to believe the evidence is true? Trump saying so? Nick says, even 100% of the military voted for Trump. They still have to follow Biden's orders. True. Von Tuck says, 52% of the military voted for Trump, not 80. Least votes for a Republican in decades. Ooh, thank you. Good to know. Stone Sales with 100 bits says, it's an umbrella, all conspiracies combined under one name with different beliefs. Yeah, QAnon is a big tent conspiracy. Towing24 says, they're focused on QAnon because they're known terrorist organization, Peter. Stone Sales says, lawsuit takes time. Kirthan says, all this new Peter lawyer's been fascinating.
Oh,
Yeah.
no. She just, slid because of the carpet.
I know, I saw. RTK says, bits for hype. Be very careful. John says, I really liked the talk with Peter. Great job. Admiral Owl says, wow, that sure was a thing. Schwup Schwap Schwup says, well done. Cool Cat says, nicest guy I've seen who's been abducted. Dr. Gothic. Or no, Dr. Goth THC says, that was amazing, Hannah. I'm honestly very impressed with your interview skills. Thank you. Bellstar says, where are the snipers, Hannah? That was my favorite part when he's like, where are the snipers? And I pulled up the live stream. And I was like, right there. There they are. They're right there. Beautiful. Ashy Boo says, you did great, Hannah. Thank you. That's a lot of gifted subs, too.
I'm so glad cats are fast, because she almost got literally crushed by that fucking thing.
Chapomon says, your patience was great. I hope you and Baha are doing well. I am doing well. How are you, Baha?
I'm well. I just miss you and wish that we were hanging out.
I know. I'll finish soon.
I mean, I gotta leave.
I know. Towing24 says, by the end of the year, you should go full family beset and lean for 5K when nothing happens and he doesn't pay up. That would be a felony, so no. Billy SC137 says, how many times do you think he moved the goalposts? He's moved them several times. Yeah, when he said I see, that's always good. RTK says, Baha has spoken 1,000%. Here we come. Thank you for the really good hype train earlier, by the way. I think that was the highest we've ever gotten on the hype train. Tube-Man says that dude was a wackadoo, lost it when he said he was abducted by aliens. Did he describe his ideal America? I didn't ask him that one. I'll have to get to it next time if we do it again. Nick says, I'm sad Lupine didn't come on during the conversation. Antifa Cat says, you look lovely today. Thank you. Pyromancer says, another shout out to the mods. Super Greggy Pants says, thanks for the laughs. My favorite part was Biden alien body double. Mitchell Drummer says, so dumb question. Why do you even need a lawyer if he tries to sue you? Can't you just, like, ignore everything until an actual court date? No, that's not how anything works. I would not be foolish enough to not involve a lawyer if I was served papers. And unlike Peter, I can probably actually afford a lawyer. So... Pyromancer says lies. The most was like 1,700, if you say so. I guess I don't remember that one. Maybe we got 100 gifted subs sometime. Lupine, come up. Oh, Lou, come here. Come on. Come say hi to the chat. Did Peter say anything about gay people? We talked about trans people a little bit. He said he had gay friends, which isn't, but... Felix Night Owl says, Hannah, you're really good at debating. You need to do this more often. I'm not. I'm really not. I pick really weak targets. That's the only reason that I seem good by comparison. Von Tuck says, I hope YouTube download works on Mike Lindell's sites. It works on BitChute and DLive. And, of course, YouTube, I need my fix. Get those videos, Hannah. Lou wants to lay with you. Towing24 says, Nathan would spend the whole time misgendering you and just keep lying. Maybe. Purple Nickel says, please, for the love of God, get Nathan Thompson on this channel. I'm begging you. We're almost done with the bits messages, by the way. There she is. Here, Cat Cam. Entertainment during the last of the bits messages. No, she definitely wants down. She is not all about this today.
Okay. Lou, come here.
Mike Max says, well, gang, I'm going to die today and become a zombie, all thanks to Bill Gates. So see y'all in hell, my fellow Satanists, aka getting vaccine in 2 hours. Thanks for getting your vaccine. Antifa Cat says, I thought you did well. You were as kind as possible while still disproving his conspiracy theories. Von Tuck says, article worth your while. RE Sovereign Sit merging with Q World. RTK142 says, what kind of music does the Mountain Goats do? I keep hearing people talk about them and I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. I'm not huge into music, so I don't know what genre they fall into. Plantless75 says, what do you think of getting into knives? I don't know what that means. Nick says, whoever came up with quantum grammar obviously has a full colon. The Poetic Fox says, hey, Hannah, this is just to say thank you. You've helped me deal with a lot of depression in the last 4 months. Oh, I'm glad. I hope you're doing better. Amori Miku says this might be useful for talking about quantum grammar, and then that was a page that I saved. 0M80, that's just emotes. Antifa Cat says meows at kitty. Can we have Peter back sometime? Perhaps. As long as he doesn't try and do any legal action against me. Sure. Comrade Devin says, you should raid Riverboat Jack when you're done. She just started, she's doing a subathon, and it's her HRT birthday. Okay, we can probably do that. Yeah, he did say he sold weed for years and claimed it cured cancer. True. Pyromancer says proof. What is this clip from? That's the most I've ever gotten at once! That's 150 subs from Pyromancer. Oh, yeah, that was the most subs I ever got, was the 150, I remember now. And that brought us to like 1,700 of the hype train. Thank you, Pyromancer, again for that. I appreciate it.
Oh, so that wasn't the biggest.
No, that was... Today we got the second biggest hype train we've ever gotten, so...
That was still fantastic.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what the QAnon people do over the next 4 years. Peter, again, is saying that, you know, in August or whatever, he'll stop naming dates, and he says by 2022 he'll start to question things, but I have a feeling he's just going to move the goalposts again and again and again. We'll see what happens. I wish nothing but the best for him and his family, though, genuinely. I think he's wrong. I think his beliefs are dangerous, but I can't control him, so I just hope he finds the truth, whatever the truth happens to be. And I hope his family prospers.
Hello, everyone. It is Marcel of the Family Bassett from Peacemaker Society.
I need to screen this one before I play it, actually. I can't just play Marcel. Let's do some sort of cleanse, and then we're probably done for the day. Because I am exhausted. That was a mentally exhausting conversation, I'm not gonna lie. Winter O'Hare, thank you for subscribing for 11 months, says I was too tired to hear the convo, but I'll watch the VOD later. Love you, Hannah. Thank you. It'll be on YouTube later. It might get set up depending on how long it takes to process for, like, tomorrow, but either way, it'll be up on YouTube soon. Felix Night Owl says, one criticism, Hannah, would be that I think you could have done better defending socialism, not letting him run away with the Venezuela argument. I guess. It's not what we were there to talk about.
To be fair, neither were aliens.
That's true. I didn't really question the aliens thing much either. I just thought that was interesting. Part of the reason I didn't get into it is because I honestly don't know very much about the Venezuela situation at all. I don't delve much into international politics, so. In fairness, I don't think he does either, but then you just have two people who don't know what they're talking about a topic, and that's borderline worse than one person doing it.
Yeah, Ella really liked when you, because if you didn't know something, you straight up said, hey, I don't know enough to talk about this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that that's good.
YouTube comment suggestions. It's all trapped in the grooves here. Well, nothing was accomplished, and we're all just a little dumber for it. Cheesecake, my dreams come true. You. This took like 15 minutes to stuff. Will it blow? Not that bad, at all, actually. I'm gonna give that 1 Mark Ruffalo's. Let's sausage. It's shared. Now we're gonna try it. Well, it tastes like a very hot cheesecake. It's one chewy sausage. And for that reason alone, I'm gonna give this a 1 out of 5. Bop, 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 bop.
Okay, let's raid someone.
Was that person that they're...
Well, hey there, folks, and,
Looks like they're sleeping right now. She's sleeping. Are we gonna raid a sleep stream? That feels weird. I don't want to raid during a sleep part of the stream. I think sleep streams stopped being TOS. They took that off. I don't want to raid a sleep stream, guys. Sorry. Well, screw it. It's their HRT, her, sorry. Fine. She's doing a subathon or something, so be a part of that. If you liked what you saw, give me a follow. If not, I understand. Thanks for stopping by anyway. I'll be back tomorrow, probably for Chud Watch, so yeah, it'll be good. Check out my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Hanna Reloaded. It's where all my past streams are from, so go check that out. I'll put it in chat real quick, actually. Go to my YouTube channel. Alright, see you guys later. Have a good night.